We are live. I also have to, this is just internally, have to mail a letter later today. We have one more order to fulfill.
Oh, nice.
I have to do yesterday. But we'll ship that later today. Also, the weather is just not nice again.
Yeah. Kind of shitty lately. Although it is getting real green out here.
I do wonder, like, how long does it take to be out of a drought? Because it's rained a lot in, like, the last 6 months.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a while, yeah.
California was also in a drought for, like, a decade, though. So I don't know if, like, 6 months can offset a decade of not enough water.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's been pretty rainy, like, compared to how rainy it had been before, I guess.
It's been exceptionally rainy. I mean, it rained like 2 days a month for the first 10 years I lived here. It's rained like
it's rained more this year than like the previous like 7 years put together or some shit.
It's also like snowed and stuff. Like, weather's definitely weird in LA right now.
Yeah. Let's see. I pulled my honey tokens from the pool. I'm just gonna stake the honey side of it into the staking place, and then
keep. I wonder what ARB contracts is. ARB contracts keeps popping up. ARB contracts.
What is that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's one of the. It's right now. It's on top. It's like the most transactions that are happening from any smart contract is ARB contract.
Oh.
But I wonder if that's
arbitrage bot.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if it's like something related to arbitrage. It's a dApp though, so it's not just. I guess that just means it's a smart contract though. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like an application.
Yeah, it could be somebody's arbitrage, like on-chain arbitrage thing. Arbitrage is also like a very competitive like strategy, so it makes sense that it's like pushing shit tons of transactions.
Res.pink is also keeps popping up, which is interesting. I wonder what that contract is for. New user.wax. 3 people just made a new account. This is kind of fun to watch. 10 people just made a new account. You can literally see like every couple.
It's like seconds. A bot farm is being born.
Yeah, you could probably like live watch people making bot farms, because I'm sure they make a shit ton of accounts. I don't know though. I think the new Wax account thing is only for people using a web wallet. Except, I guess, I don't know, botters can use web wallet.
Man, I was using my web wallet
though, because I think it's harder to bot within the web wallet than it is like on your own external. But I could be wrong about that. I don't really know how botters.
I got saved by my web wallet the other day because I was like gambling on the earn bet, just like fucking around with like the dice game or playing baccarat or some nonsense, like some bullshit, you know. And like I was doing real well. I had turned like 20 wax into like 60 wax, and I was feeling like, fuck it, like let's just throw 60 wax and like see how I do. And then I go to roll the dice, and it's just like, you're out of CPU. I was like, yeah, okay, good, let's not do that then. Like my wallet was like, stop, you've done enough gambling.
It's weird how, like, I don't know, I used to run out of CPU all the time back in the day, but I haven't ran out of CPU in quite.
No, neither, not much anymore.
I don't really play.
Well, it ran out of CPU, and all I was doing was gambling, and I had like 150 wax staked, so not like a small amount of wax, at least by the standards of what we used to stake.
I mean, 150 at this price is not a lot.
At this price, it's pretty much nothing. Yeah,
that's like a gas fee you're spending for one transaction on Ether.
Yeah, I mean, even I still do a decent amount of like layer 2s for Ethereum. So like I used to paying probably between 10 and 20 cents for a transaction on a blockchain. So wax is still like insanely cheap compared to that, and that's like not too crazy, I think.
So you have 150 wax takes right now? What is that word? What is this?
Yeah, I have 100. Let's see.
I got here 100. That's $7. 150 is $10. So that's, yeah, I feel like that's about what you could be paying for an Ether transaction right now.
Yeah, $7. That's like one Ethereum transaction for sure. Also on the week, the markets were super crazy. Like the Ethereum GUI fee went up to $400, and to send from one wallet to another wallet that you own, like smart contract, not like an exchange transaction, it cost me $60 just in a straight send. It's fucked up.
Welcome everybody.
I had to unwind some liquidity positions. I spent like $300 on Ethereum gas to do like 5 or 6 transactions.
Yeah, this shit's very.
I wanted to hedge.
Like that's like, very like against.
Here.
Sort of against like, what makes DeFi cool to me, because as you say, like the whole point of like why DeFi is better than traditional finance is you are at the same level as all these like Wall Street bankers. You can get in early, you can do all that stuff. But that's not true if you don't have enough money to be spending $10 per gas fee. So it is very restrictive to people who have enough money to participate. Whereas like layer 2 DeFi,
because if you're spending like, even when I was, if I spent $300 to unwind a DeFi position, that means that position better have earned more than $300 just in like profit from fee from like
that's what I'm saying. So like whatever it was, the average person cannot participate in that because the average person doesn't have like, I don't know, like someone like that works on set with me that's like barely able to pay their rent and stuff, like aren't going to be able to invest any real money into that and make any money.
You're not going to be able to do like $100 or whatever, or even $50 or whatever if you can afford to do $50. Like
at that point, you're better at buying access and holding it though than participating in either DeFi, in my opinion. So like, I do think like in order for DeFi to be more what you're saying, where it actually is like letting anybody have access to the same tools, like it needs to be much cheaper. So I mean, just look at our community. When you try to hit people to DeFi Ether protocols, they're in crypto and they have a little bit of money to throw around. And they're still just like you have to move out. Like when we talk about Waxy, we're like, don't do it unless you're moving $5,000, and that's just like it's pretty restrictive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, DeFi on Ethereum mainnet you can participate in a lot of this.
Right. We're supposed to freaking stream to get. Oh no, that's the Thursday. I thought I missed that, and I just almost had a panic attack. I was like, were we supposed to go live with Bri today, and we missed it? But that's this Thursday. This Thursday, we will be going live with Jungle Bri, assuming that still works. So we appreciate the raid. It's rainy over here, Valor and Vellum. I can show you that.
It is. It is. We're like, my dog hates it. She was like, I don't want to go out. Which I understand. I also didn't want to go out.
Yeah, Thursday is good. I just woke up, so I'm like, I don't have my wits about me yet. I also slept like 4 or 5 hours last night, so I'm tired. But I will be ready for Thursday.
Okay, 3 Thursday. Good.
Also 3. What a great time for me.
Yeah, we'll be out and about, finished eating.
I changed our schedule also, not that people even checked, but this week I put 1:30 p.m. for our starting time instead of 12:30 p.m. My sleep cycle is so fucked up. There's no way I'm like actually going to consistently wake up at 12 this week. I got to slowly start shifting down from. I woke up at like 5 p.m. on Monday.
We also lost an hour like 2 days ago.
That scared me too. Daylight saving sucks. Like I don't know.
I thought we fucking did away with that. Apparently, I like looked it up. Apparently, it didn't pass the House. Like fucking House, dude.
Why are people not passing that? Like, why do you just want to fuck up 2 of my days a year? Like, come on, guys.
I hate that, dude. Like, I'm used to it. Like, just get rid of it. Fucking daylight savings. Like, what's the point of that again? Is there like a real reason for it?
It's for farmers. It's like
farmers. Okay, well.
It's like so there's more sunlight while they're working, right? Like, but it's like if you're not a farmer
in the summer,
who needs it? Yeah, just wake up an hour earlier. Why do you have to inconvenience my life for your fucking crops? Like,
yeah, why you gotta fuck with my clock? I'm not a farmer. Like, I don't work by like as the sun rises or whatever. And if that's the case, like, I don't know, get up at sunrise. Why does it have to be at a specific time?
Why is there daylights? There we go. I'm sure there's a
Lance says it's not for farmers.
Okay. See, I also just said that without doing any research, so I'm spreading false information.
I mean, I bought it hook, line, and sinker right away. I was like, oh yeah, farmers, motherfuckers. Farmers get all the breaks.
All right, let's see what this NBC News article has to say about it. Or is this NBC? NBC Chicago? Yeah, it is.
We are shifting to daylight saving time this weekend, and doctors say there are things that you can do right now to get your body ready. Here's health and wellness reporter Lauren Petty.
Get my body ready.
So you like it or not, we're springing forward this weekend, and sleep experts say it's a substantial shift.
Essentially jump.
Research shows car accidents and traffic deaths go up. Stroke.
There's very specific cells in our eyes dedicated to.
They don't give you any real information. They try to scare you. Like, I don't want to watch that.
It sounds like there's a good case against doing daylight savings if it makes people like get into car accidents and die. That's not great.
The news is just going to tell you no matter what to scare. Here, let me. Okay, this actually has real information that's in the article. Daylight savings time has been around for more than 100 years. Is originally established in 1918 to save energy costs during World War One. Why the fuck are we still doing this? Are we in the middle of World War One right now? Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem right. The laws were repealed about a year later due to the war's end, but implemented once again during World War II. It was instated to help conserve fuel and promote national security and defense. So I guess that's what it is. Like, it makes the light up an hour later, so you don't have to use as much energy turning on your lights at night, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna keep reading.
I don't know if it's worth it. It's hard to say.
Later became standard in the U.S. until passage of the Uniform Time Act of 1966, which mandated standard time across the country within established time zones. Daylight savings time has been a controversial topic for decades, and despite efforts to halt it, the time change still remains in place. The U.S. Senate made an attempt last year by passing legislation known as the Sunshine Protection Act, which sought to end changing the clocks in the U.S., except Hawaii. Despite passage in the Senate, the bill was stalled in the House, where it remained in committee. The fuck is wrong with the House? I don't rally for a lot of things politically on the stream, but I'm 100% for banishing the fucking daylight savings time.
Right, war is over. At least World War II is. I don't know about other war, but you know,
this has got to be nonpartisan, y'all. Like, nonpartisan. I don't care if you're a Republican.
How many more people have to die before we fucking leave the clocks alone? You know,
I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what your gender is. Everybody should be against daylight savings time. I think that's the one thing we can all freaking get behind.
I feel like we should leave it at whatever it's at the moment when the bill goes through. Just like, I'm already used to that now. Like, just cut it there. You know, I don't care. It doesn't like I don't care if we ever get this hour back that we just lost. Like, that's fine. Let's just like not do this shit again. That's my stance on it. Like, I don't care which way we shift it. Just let's not shift it again.
Valorant says leave it at this one where the light stays out later. I can live with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it to be light later too. So
I don't wake up in the morning anyway. So I guess
so there we go. Out of the sample size of the three of us here, me, you, and Priscilla, that's 100% support for leaving it alone. Like, stop, just drop it now.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good argument. She said, generally, it's okay for women to walk alone in the morning, even if it's a little dark, but it's unsafe for us to walk around in the dark at night. So that's less hours of women being unsafe. Yeah. Do you like women feeling unsafe? Support daylight savings time. That's how a political argument goes. You just like put words in your opponent's mouth, and they're like, if you support this, that means you also support this.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the House. Look at the U.S. House of Representatives is just trying to make life unsafe for women, more unsafe.
The U.S. House of Representatives hates women, and until they vote against daylight savings time, like let's I don't know. We're about to get into way more political stuff. Is like, it's a bad thing to joke about when they're actually like banning abortion and stuff and fucking with women's right to choose. So bad joke, but you know,
how many more rights do women have to lose before we fucking leave the clocks alone? You know. Well, that's
news before we get too off the rails with
yeah, let's dive into some shit that happened this week, guys. I'm gonna start by sharing my screen here too. I think this should do a good screen share. Yeah. All right, this week, guys, this was a fucking crazy weekend. Check this out. Wanted to take a look at USDC and then what happened with USDC. Oh, this is the market cap. I want the like spot price. US dollar data. No, we're just looking at USDC. Here we go. Gemini. Yeah, look at this. Let's go a little lower time frame on this chart. Normally, you want to see USD where it is right now, trading around $1. And
I guess to preface all this is if you're just like completely not in with the crypto news, USDC lost its peg this last week, which is important because it is a stable coin, and stable coins are meant to be able to be traded 1-for-1 for the price of the US dollar. So if it loses its peg, that means it is no longer tradable 1-for-1 with the US dollar. And this weekend it was trading at, I think, 88 cents at the lowest. So
yeah, all the way to 82 cents.
Yeah, my number's wrong. The point is, it lost peg, and that's not good. Max will explain why that happened, but I think you were maybe about to just skip over, like, if people have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Let's see. I just wanted a little visual representation to go with that. So here's this USDC, and you can see it usually trades 1-to-1 with the dollar. Usually, always, it'll have a few fluctuations here and there, but usually never more than this. Is each candle here represents 1 hour, so one of these is like within an hour everything got fixed, and you can see what happened over the weekend. This did not recover instantly within an hour. And so over the weekend, what happened is there was news that a bank, Silicon Valley Bank, or SVB, had basically lost. It doesn't have enough liquidity, became insolvent to pay its creditors, basically back the money that they deposited. And the way the bank owned $3.3 billion worth of the backing for the token USDC. This token is issued by the Circle is the name of the company that issues USDC. Circle is a partner of Coinbase, and they issue USDC and back each USDC that's issued by a physical US dollar, which is held by their money management team, mostly managed by BlackRock, which is a major hedge fund and not in any real danger of ever failing at the scale that it operates at, honestly. But obviously not all of the backing is at one bank. The rest of it is spread across, I'd say about 77 or 78% of the backing for USDC from Circle is managed by BlackRock. When I was looking this up on the weekend, I was digging kind of deep into it. But so that means, there's like 24% of this $45 billion amount of money that is banked by other banks. One of those other banks was Silicon Valley Bank with a $3.3 billion position, or about 8% of the total backing supply. And when the news came out on Friday evening, kind of breaking into Saturday, that SVB, sorry, I keep confusing there's so many fucking names, like there's so many SVB, SBV kind of names of people scamming lately. But yeah, so when that news broke about the bank, Silicon Valley Bank, being insolvent and potentially halting withdrawals and basically possibly going under entirely, that news was coupled with Circle announcing that the bank that just announced insolvency held $3.3 billion, or let's say 7% of the supply of USDC's backing. Now, all of that news came out on the weekend when traditional banks that do the transactions of redemption from crypto into physical dollars, were all closed. So then you got basically a bunch of people who have exposure to these assets, which now are, as far as the news that's come out, insolvent and potentially have lost the backing. And a lot of those people are trying to reduce their exposure to that 7% loss of backing, and potentially also a further loss than 7%, because what's happening at the bank there at Silicon Valley Bank is not isolated to Silicon Valley Bank. So if we're following the banking market in the United States currently, I can pull up a little visual aid here. Oh, actually, I probably can't. Oh no, I can because I'm sharing my computer screen. I should be able to do this by bringing it up as a window. But a lot of banks in the United States are currently experiencing a bit of a bank run, where they're being asked to produce deposits that people have left with them to basically withdraw. And many people are withdrawing at the same time. And a lot of these banks have their assets not fully liquid and available to cash out immediately when people are asking for them. And that is causing those banks to either halt withdrawals temporarily suspend like activity that is usual. And when those types of actions happen, people get nervous, reasonably nervous, and there tends to be, that leads to more people asking for withdrawals, which is already difficult for this bank to fulfill. At that point, the bank needs to start creating liquid cash. And what has happened across a lot of the banks in the United States at the moment is a lot of these banks have purchased long-term treasury bonds from the United States government that don't mature for 10 years. And they purchased a lot of these bonds in like COVID era, when people were like putting their money into the bank, and then the bank was taking that money and buying 10-year treasury bonds, which the way that those instruments work is, let's say you're using $100 to buy a treasury bond, you can get a 10-year treasury bond with your $100 today, and in 10 years the federal government will give you back, let's say 100, and those bonds usually pay a decent percentage, like 2% a year, maybe, if you're getting an okay rate in COVID era times. So then you'd get your $100 plus 2% per year for 10 years, so you'd get $120 ish, like plus a little bit on top of that back. But until that 10 years is up, you only have the bond that is good for the $120 in 10 years, but today is not redeemable. You can sell the bond to somebody else, and somebody else might pay you $100 or maybe $101 or whatever if you're like 5 years into a 10-year position. But either way, once they take possession of it, they also can't sell it until it matures. A lot of these banks have a lot of their capital in these long-term positions that, since the Federal Reserve has been raising. Say again?
Do you know what the percentage interest they get on those? Did you say that? Did I miss it?
I said, like, in the COVID era, like 1.5 to 2% annually. It was shit. That's not like very much at all.
That much better than just putting your money in a savings account.
No, not right now. Savings account are paying a lot more, but that's because the Federal Reserve, since COVID, had raised interest rates more and more. So today, the same treasury bond you could buy for 10 years would produce like 6%. So much, much more.
That people that just locked in for 10 years got screwed by locking in at a bad price.
So, yeah, because basically what that means is that because you can today buy a 10-year bond from the government directly that produces, $100 for your $100, $160 instead of $120 in 10 years, the bond that produces 120 is now worth a lot less on the market, because there's other bonds that expire literally the same time that produce more money. So that exacerbates the problem. As the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, the treasury bonds that are not mature that these banks have purchased are worth less and less on the secondary market to resell. So currently, the bonds that Silicon Valley Bank held, where it has its hundreds of billions of dollars that it, obviously it does have, it didn't just disappear. That money is basically now sellable on an open market for about 20% less than what they put into it. So if you took that $100 and you bought that back in COVID era, and today your customer is coming is like, hey, I need $50 back from the money I gave you, and it's like, well, I don't, you can't be like, can you come back in 8 years? So what you have to do is sell your bond, and now that bond that you paid $100 for and we're expecting to make $120 with, you would have to sell for about $80 just to, then you can give your client back his 50, and you've have to suffer the loss of the difference. And that's basically why those banks went under. And now if we look at for example here, a nice tweet of somebody put together of these are all like pretty major US banks. And when the news came out on Thursday about the initial report of the insolvency issue, it rippled through all of these banks, because the banks aren't it's not like Silicon Valley Bank was doing something crazy that none of these other banks were doing. And also, a lot of these banks hold balances with each other, where it's like Circle holds parts of its money in SVB and multiple other banks. Those banks then will buy treasury bonds and maybe deposit them at another bank, to kind of keep everything is very interconnected. And it's kind of a shitstorm. When one of these pieces breaks, a lot of this contagion will affect the rest of the market. And so here you can see, these are huge, 15% down. and this is like within the week of the market capitalization, the value of these banks just wiped out because of the uncertainty of investor confidence, and those investors in turn pulling their funds, and then those banks needing to liquidate assets that are not mature or potentially not, at a loss, effectively realizing a loss. That's why you're seeing these huge market like taking shits. And like Key Bank, for example, is like, if you know Key Arena in Seattle, like, they buy the licensing for Key Arena. Like, it's not a small little like, small town bank. These are like huge operations, and you can see like kind of across the fucking board it's like not very good look for the banking market year to date, at least. And so on the weekend, all of these fears, so this kind of a sell-off, this information was out about Friday already, like Thursday, I think this tweet was tweeted. But all of that put together with then, the crypto market hitting the news of the backing for USDC potentially being gone, and all the banks still being closed on the weekend, a lot of people then tried to exit, their position in USDC into other stable coins. And the people who then got out of USDC, not into stable coins, but who wanted to exit the crypto scene altogether, would go to the exchanges like Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, deposit their USDC and redeem it for 1-to-1 into dollars. But those exchanges usually rely on their banking partners to redeem. When you deposit, let's say 100 USDC and you want $100, they have an amount of money, a pool of money to facilitate that. But if you and 1,000 other people do the same, the pool of money they have available isn't going to be deep enough. And so they need to then reach out to their banking partner, who can, take the USDC token and redeem it for the dollars. Those partners are closed on the weekend. So then you have a run of basically a bank run, but on crypto exchanges trying to swap into cash. And those exchanges in turn halting trading of USDC into USD. Coinbase and Binance, two of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world by trading volume, both halted the exchange, the redemption.
Do you see Binance was saying that they're selling a shit ton of BUSD treasury and then they're going to buy crypto with it? That's pretty big news as far as like being bullish on crypto over fiat. Is like Binance is just like, fuck fiat, we're not holding money in fiat, we're holding crypto, which is like pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's multiple billions of dollars too. It's crazy. It's like 1.7 or something.
Irish had a few comments. Welcome Irish. He's on YouTube of all places. But he said treasuries are a shitcoin with infinite supply, and then he said SVB had no risk manager for 9 months last year. The critical time the Fed was raising rates, affecting their sell bonds. It's suspicious. Do you tinfoil hats, sir?
I would agree. I think the crazy part to me about the whole SBV thing is that it's a very obvious failure to bank. That's it. It's not exposure to some risky tech venture or some crypto thing that they were doing. Like, the reality of SBV's balance book is that crypto and crypto banking, or like that $3.3 billion they held for Circle, that's a really small portion of their entire balance sheet. And that money also, Circle doesn't ask them to invest it into risky shit. What Circle and the backing for USD is generally, overwhelmingly, is 4 to 6 month T-notes. So those are like short-term treasury bonds that mature, 4 to 6 months after you buy them. And the majority of what BlackRock does with USDC backing, is invest into these T-notes. And so those other banks, like those periphery banks like SBV, holding their money in 10-year treasury bonds, that is, possibly very much isolated to like that 7% of this. So it's like, when you see, because I was a little panicked. I was like, wait, how much of this fucking USDC backing is in 10-year bonds or like 10 to 30-year mortgage backed like accounts? And it's, less than 30%, which that's actually reasonable banking. And what happened at Silicon Valley Bank is they literally took like 80% of their liquid capital and stuck it into long-term positions like that. And what effectively amounts to like 1.5% more yield than short-term positions, which is fucking insane. Like you literally, they rolled the dice with everybody's money for an additional like 1% or maybe 2%, like 1.5 or something. It was really, really just bad decision making and shit risk management. And I'm hearing so many narratives now about how it was like market conditions, exposure to crypto. I even read an article from the Wall Street Journal that was just pure racism, where they said SBV was too focused on diversity because they had multiple women and minority people on their board, which is like, okay, the problem isn't any of those things. The problem is shit banking practice.
It sounds like they literally didn't have a risk manager for 9 months while they're doing all the shit.
Bad risk management. Exactly. There isn't.
That's not a diversity problem. That's a you don't have an employee doing their job problem.
How could this happen? Like, oh, it happened because SBV acted unlike a bank, more like a money market, and they locked all of their liquidity into long-term money market positions. And it's like the money's still there, but not for 8 years. And why would they need liquid money for the next 10 years? They're only a bank.
It's also it's not too dissimilar to what happened with the FTX, as far as like people are just investing money that other people are considering putting in a bank. Like they're like, okay, like I'm using this as a bank, and then the bank is using it as an investment platform. And like I think there's basically on that stuff, right?
The difference with what happened at FTX though is that FTX also owned the bank they were investing in.
Yeah, so theirs was also sketchier because they're
like was a whole nother layer of like they literally were just investing in fake money and
I'm just saying like the root problem is still the same thing, that people were investing money that other people were trying to withdraw as like a bank, and they lost. This case, they didn't lose the investment money. It just tied up for years and years and years, and they can't give people the money they want. In FTX's cases, they literally lost the money. The money is gone. It is not recoverable. But like, it's still the same underlying problem where like people are taking money that is not theirs to invest and investing it in shit, and then not able to give it back to the people who are like, this is a bank, I need my money back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. Is like, that's the reason you have your money at the bank. Full stop, is so that when you need it, you can go there and get it. Like it's crazy that not just, major funds like Circle looking for $3.3 billion, but like individuals and small business startups that bank with these partners like are now fucked, and it's because the bank is doing irresponsible dumb shit. And the real reality, tinfoil hat here for me, is what these banks do, like SBV or SVB, Silicon Valley Bank specifically, but all these banks, it's not like, again, it's not unique to this bank, is they lobby Congress to loosen regulations on banking, and then they fuck up without, like, because there's no oversight, and so they just do whatever they want, like have no idea of how to manage risk or any of this stuff, and then they come crying back to the government and get bailed out by the fucking taxpayer. So if there's any recovery plan from the government that is not the government putting money directly into the hands of the creditors of these defaulted units, if any of that money goes to the bank before it gets distributed to the creditors, that is a taxpayer bailout. Fuck that. They shouldn't be able to do that. Like, I definitely think the government should bail out the creditors, not the fucking bank. And time and time again, the bank that gets bailed out.
I was talking about this in like another chat, but I was like, in my lifetime, the amount of like businesses that the U.S. government has bailed out that just have bad business practices is insane. It's like too big to fail is only a thing in the U.S. because when you fail, the U.S. government just bails you out. Like there is, it's like, I don't know, it's like that wouldn't happen if we just let the free market actually decide who is failing. Those people would go out of fucking business. Like they wouldn't be able.
We can put it into perspective too of people like our friend Mark, right? We know Mark is starting a restaurant. We know Mark is using contractors to build, like infrastructure so he can open his restaurant in the next few months. Those contractors get paid by the bank that Mark takes his business loan from. If that bank mismanaged their money and can't fulfill the settlement to the contractors, then through no fault of Mark or Mark's work ethic or Mark's risk management, his contractors won't get paid, his job won't get done, and he will be on the line. He will go bankrupt, sitting on a building that cannot get developed because the money that he already has will not be accessible to him. And that story is insanely common for like small business and little like lenders and borrowers. And the reality is that, you know, businesses that are the size of Mark's business cannot bank with these banks that are too big to fail. Those banks do not accept first-time businesses and do small business loans to them. What they do is they buy portfolios of those loans from smaller banks, and when those smaller banks become over leveraged in some like insane like market condition like this, they then buy out the smaller bank and all those loans at a fraction of the cost. It's fucked up, but it's really frustrating because at the end of the day, you end up with the people who are affected by this are the people who are doing everything by the book. Like people like Mark running their business, you know, taking small business loans, going through like the local branch of his local bank where he actually has his business. And like that is some of the highest risk banking at the moment in the United States, because these banks are all not immune to the contagion of what, you know, several big players do in this space.
I'm not like super hip to lawmaking, but it seems like people should not be able to invest your money like that, and like that just shouldn't be allowed. Like I shouldn't be able to give you my money, and then without my permission, you invest my money in some shit I didn't ask you to invest in, and then you can't give it back to me. Why is that allowed? Like, why is that legal? That shouldn't even be legal. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's like the South Park episode. He's like, and we're just gonna take your. It's like, oh, you got $50. We're gonna take that and put that into a mutual fund that trades across the forex markets, and it's gone. It's like it's gone. It's like, yep, sorry. Like, there's a Swiss bank that had a run on like this like euro currency, and your money was tied up in a market associated with that, and it's gone. Like, it's like, what do you mean? I put my money into my bank locally here. It's like, where the fuck? Why is it in the Swiss? Why is it in some Swiss money market? You know, that it's insane, but that is 100% how it goes. The other side of it is also the fractional reserve aspect of it, where, you know, they'll take your money and then use, you know, an absurd amount of collateral, like and very small, that is, as in like maybe 10% of your money as collateral, and then loan out 90% of it backed by just your 10, which they keep, you know, on the books. That means if, you know, 50% of the people want their money back, they already don't have the liquidity to cover it. It doesn't mean they don't have the money. It means they just don't have it available. And that is definitely a problem. And that's the problem we saw play out this weekend. So you can see USDT-C taking a huge dump down to 8.7%, 87 cents. So that's about, you know, a little bit overreaction, because like I said, the backing that was stolen was about 7% of USDC's backing, and that's kind of where a bulk of the trading was happening, around 7 cents below. But you can see now it's back at 1-to-1 as the banks are open again. The redemption process is being honored at 1-to-1. But all of this has definitely shown a light on the fragile nature of stablecoin backing when there is no insurance for the crypto space. And the other side that I've been seeing a lot of lately is a lot of banks who are now in these situations where, you know, they've put themselves, honestly, by bad banking practices, by, you know, over leveraging long with customer money. That's just the constant theme here. But a lot of them are talking about their exposure to crypto, maybe not directly blaming it, but it comes up way too much in this conversation, because realistically, these banks' exposure to crypto is a fraction of a percent of the balance sheet that they maintain, and absolutely is not the reason why any of this stuff is happening. But people don't understand exposure to crypto well enough to call them on that. So it's an easy narrative to push, and it's an easy way for banks to be the victim of big bad crypto, you know, and an easy opportunity for lawmakers then to over aggressively legislate
an industry really complex stuff. Like, the average person isn't going to sit through a 40-minute talk of you explaining to them like, you know, like you are now. So like,
and it's such a
aren't going to take the time. They're just going to read whatever stupid headline NBC has, which is crypto's bad, and like that's all they get from this. They don't have the nuance. They don't understand, nor do they care to understand what's happening. I wanted to read a few comments we had.
Yeah, people still hate like crypto because of the mining, and it's just like, oh, how do you feel about it since Ethereum went proof of stake? And they're like, what? Like, they don't even know.
Yeah, they don't know what any of that means.
They just read about the mining being bad.
Autumn's Toy says another big problem with SVB is that they have no branches. So most of their money is coming from funds, and during COVID, there were a ton of new funds and money coming in. However, in the last 2 years, fundraising dried up and funds were still spending. What do you mean they had no branches? Like, they're an online bank only. Then like I don't even understand what that means.
There's a lot of like banks like that too.
Wapaka says, wasn't it also a wrong recommendation to banks from the Fed to lock this money up? So he's saying, didn't the Fed tell the bank, like, I don't know, Wapaka's, I guess, saying, like, is it not the bank's fault? It's the Fed's law because the Fed told the banks to do the 10-year bond stuff? I don't know.
It's so the Fed only stepped in once the bank became insolvent. So whatever the Fed told them to do at that point, yeah, it's not necessarily the ideal move, but it was the bank's fault to put themselves in a position. Full stop. It was bad banking practice. Like these people shouldn't be bailed out. It's like basically, let's say I have to pay $1,000 a month for rent and I have like $10,000 in my bank account. What if like why don't I just take 8,000 of those dollars and put them into like a 1-year CD? And then 3 months from now, when I'm actually out of the money that I had left liquid, I'm like, oh shit, like I need a bailout. Like what happened here? You know, like oops. You know, I mean, I had the money. Like what happened? And then if the Fed would then step in, you know, and be like, oh, here, freeze all this shit. We're going to seize those assets. Here's money so you can keep paying your rent from now to now so that you don't get like, that's effectively what that, like the Fed stepping in and making these calls. It might have been a little bit aggressive. I kind of agree, like freezing all that shit and that aggression, that like level of aggressive like signaling by making these types of big swings from the Fed doesn't help investor confidence and then spread that like panic. And that's again why people were willing to sell their USDC for like a 20% loss here at 82 cents. Like people wouldn't do that shit if they weren't fucking like sure that it was going to go lower. And the reason people think it's going to go lower when it's down this far already is because, you know, you have the news at this stage here where the price is here. Like we basically right now, this is what we're seeing. The like stable coin is tanking. What we know is that at least $3.3 billion is missing. We also know there's a contagion that could happen with other banks. So more failures could mean more of that position might be not actually there. And then we see the Federal Reserve stepping in and acting so aggressively. It's like, oh shit, this isn't just some kind of like, you know, this is a bigger deal than it might be made out to be here. And then people panic harder. So all of these factors, I think the Fed making a little bit of an aggressive play here, the banks all being closed because this all happened on the weekend, the news of all this shit like really breaking initially on Thursday and not really the picture not really coming clear until like late Friday and then into the weekend. And then the available liquidity depth is another big part of this on the exchanges and on the blockchains itself. So like I said here, you can see, you know, all of this money, all the OBV means money pumping out. That's $94 million in the negative, you see here, as people are selling. So that's, you know, that's money that Gemini just has to have in cash to pay out. Since then, obviously, it's, you know, a lot of money flowed back in here. But, you know, it dropped from what, 80 negative to 90. It's like $12 million or $14 million in liquid capital. At some point, they don't have it liquid, you know, on the weekend. If the bank's closed and they can't get more liquid capital, where are they supposed to get money to send to you? So, you know, Coinbase got ahead of that by just stopping this type of trading, which panicked people even more, you know, because that like, oh, all the liquidity Coinbase has is also not available. Binance also, nope, not going to let you trade your USDC into cash anymore, not on their books. So you have two of the biggest volume centralized operations off the table entirely. And then the liquidity that was on chain. So if we take a look at like, here is the curve swap protocol. This is definitely where on, let's look at on Ethereum.
Damn, Autumn's Toys says they were on a Zoom call with the SVB CEO Thursday AM begging us to stick it out with them. I feel like I would take my business elsewhere, Autumn's Toys. That's pretty intense. That's the thing. Also crazy how many people were affected by this, even in our community. Because like I didn't know that you worked with them, but like Cartman Bra, who's in like I'm playing Our Planet with him right now. He was like this weekend, he was like, sorry, I can't play Our Planet. Like all of our money from like our company was put into this bank that just went under, and like he was freaking out. He's like, it was a new job too. He's like, I just got hired by this company and they might fucking go out of business like within like my first week of being a new hire because like all of their money was, he was like panicking. Like I don't know.
And it's not because his company did anything wrong. They literally were banking within a legitimate banking partner, and now they're like left holding their dick and they don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Like Monday like comes around, they're gonna have employees who are like, hey, can I cash my paycheck? You know, like the real answer is no. Wait, you have to wait. And then it's like, you know, even if it's a company that, you know, in a week or two they resolve this shit, by that time you might have lost talent from your like employment list. You might have like people just quit or like, fuck this, I'm gonna go work somewhere where they aren't bankrupt, you know. And that damage is hard to quantify. You know, it's not just the money that was lost, it's the damage done to the reputation of the business
also,
as an employer or as a client. Yeah, it's,
as you're saying, it's not all crypto people though. Like, I don't think his job has anything to do with crypto. Like, there's a ton of people.
No, yeah, I have a friend who's
that
in
are not.
production who also, yeah, they got an email this weekend where they're like, our payroll was at this bank, so like if your paycheck bounced, like reach out and we'll like work it out. But you know, they're like, and if you haven't cashed it yet, just don't until this is resolved. Which is like, they don't do anything with crypto. Most of the bank's clients are not crypto, which is why them talking about exposure to crypto is so like frustrating to me, because that exposure is minuscule compared to the rest of their business. And again, in this case, the exposure to crypto that they had was holding fucking treasury notes and treasury bonds. Like, oh, how dangerous. But here you can see Curve protocol, the 3 pool at Curve. This should be 33% USDT, USDC, and DAI, and you can see the USDT and is been drained pretty aggressively down to 7% now, with $186 million in USDC, 180 million in DAI. So you can still see the results of the panic selling out of these assets, filling up this pool. So DAI was also sold aggressively because its backing is heavily invested in USDC as well. So you can see both of these, you know, deep holes. And what that means is that when you go to swap now, if you wanted to swap into USDT, you can see if I do, you know, like $1,000 swap, I'm losing $5. Versus if you do that same swap into DAI, it's, you know, much less aggressive to 1.3 cents, you know. This is okay. 13 cents, sorry. But yeah, it's way less than $5. And that, you know, really matters when you start getting into like bigger numbers here. So at $100,000, you know, I'm paying, what is that, like $13, versus at $100,000 here, that's hundreds of dollars, $420. So this is still the case on chain right now, despite the fact that the redemption is open. That also means that if you have USDT, you can actually make some decent arbitrage still. Again, this is going to cost way too much. It's on Ethereum mainnet, but if you have $1 million, you know, it might be worth it if you want to make a quick 3,800. This transaction might cost you like $80 though, so that's why you need $1 million. But you can do the same thing across other blockchains that are much cheaper. Like here's Arbitrum, and we'll probably see a similar story here. On Arbitrum, we have the 2 pool. This should be about 50-50, and you can see it's 88.11. And again, what that's going to look like for swapping
pretty good
would be like this. So if we can do with 100 here, we can actually make, you know, 40 cents. This transaction might cost 20 cents. $1,000, we'll make $4.
Oh shit, I have it the other way though. I have more money in USDC than USDT. I think I have 5,000 USDT though, so I could actually do that with $5,000.
Yeah, that's actually not the worst. So if you did 5,000 from USDT, that's a $22 instant like arbitrage win.
That's probably gonna be like the gas fee though.
The gas fee for this on Arbitrum would probably be below 20 cents, definitely below 30.
Oh, well, maybe I'll do that later today then, and then cash out my USDC.
Arbitrum's really cheap.
Do you want to open? I sent you some memes in Discord. If you like click in Discord, you can click open original image, and it should just pop up on your screen that's shared. If that makes sense. Like when you highlight the picture in Discord, it has a button that opens it up. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fed shooting the USDT system, and then he says, "Why would crypto do this?"
That's pretty good. Who shot Hannibal?
And that's from Irish. Shout out to Irish. He sent a second one too if you want to open that.
That's solid. A ZRIP and Fed policy.
A-
Hold on, let's spin a little bit.
A decade of ZRP and FED policy to hold reserves in UST. Fed hikes rates at the fastest pace on record, causing massive unrealized losses on bank balance sheets. That's him shoving a stick into his own bicycle, and then damn you, Bitcoin and crypto, with him falling over.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I'm seeing across the narratives too. And again, let me explain what this is saying, kind of in the easier to understand terms. So what they're saying again is a lot of these banks were like stacking long-term treasury notes while the Fed interest rate was standard or low, like it was in COVID era. And then the bank aggressively raising the rates of interest means that the federal bonds, like the treasury bonds that you can buy today, that same $100 that will become $120 in 10 years, that same thing is today possible, but instead of going from $100 to 120, it'll go to 160. That means that the 10-year bonds today are, that interest rate, it doesn't change. You lock that in when you buy the bond. So if interest drops again, that's a really good investment. But as that interest rate is fixed to the bond contract that you're buying there, the bonds that you've already bought, the ones that produce $120 instead of, or whatever, $120 instead of 160, those you already own. And now, because the current bonds are so much more lucrative because the Fed has raised the interest rate so aggressively, those older bonds are worth less on the resale market, which that depreciation in the value of those bonds is the unrealized losses on the bank's balance sheet. And those losses across the banking industry in the United States is hundreds of billions of dollars in a loss. Now, it's only a loss if they have to sell those bonds before they reach maturity. All of those bonds are worth what they are worth at maturity, and those banks will be in profit if they wait and hold them that long. But the question now is on everybody's mind, can they hold them that long?
Not only that, though, but like if inflation is increasing and inflation is outpacing their interest rates, then they are kind of losing value. Maybe not US dollar value, because the US dollars is still going up technically. But like if they have to wait 10 years and then like inflation is more than 1.5%, then like they are actually kind of losing money by having it locked in there, or at least losing value.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like that's like the guy sticking the wheel in the spokes there, the stick in the spokes. So it's like, oh, we're going to raise inflation. And then be like, what happened? How did the banking industry fail? Like, I don't know, maybe because like most of their balance sheet is in treasury bonds at lower interest rates, like lower interest rates than the fucking the inflation rate, and they can't keep up. But yeah, that was a crazy panic this weekend. And the move is really, if you were panicked, you should divest a little bit, is generally my sentiment. If you feel like you're overexposed, then you are overexposed. If you can't sleep comfortably at night because something is happening in the market,
selling some of my USDC into friggin' actual US dollars, because I didn't realize I was overexposed until this happened. And I was like, I cannot have that much money in USDC right now. Like if I would have actually lost my USDC, it would have been devastating.
That's definitely, and that's a great like way to kind of like, this definitely shone a light on that for people. So even people who didn't panic sell during the bottom here, or like during the collapse in it, or people who didn't panic sell at all, are still aware of the risk more than they were before the weekend. And those people maybe now will adjust their exposure to that risk by cashing out a little bit into cash. I know I did. And if enough people do that, that is the bank run that requires these banks to sell. And it's not because the crypto exchange where I'm trading fucked up because they like played bullshit games. It's because their banking partner who redeems the asset backing backed that money into long-term.
Other people are playing stupid games. Like someone somewhere is always playing stupid games with their money. That's the fucking financial system.
Yeah. So it's also much safer to just hold a crypto asset in a cold storage wallet than it is to hold a asset that has a representative backing outside of crypto, such as a stable coin.
That's where I started to figure it out. Like I was just holding USDC in a wallet. I'm not even participating in DeFi. So I was like, why the fuck am I holding something that's like backed by other shit that just like basically like 10% of just got lost overnight. Like I didn't even realize that was really a possibility. I was like, now that I know that's a possibility, I'm not earning interest on holding this. So like there's zero reason for me to expose myself to that risk when like I'm pretty sure Bank of America is not going to collapse before like whatever's backing USDC is. Like Bank of America is gonna be around longer than fucking Circle, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. It is like, but Bank of America could also fail. Like nothing is really too big to fail, which is why like I don't know. This kind of like keeps you to learning that like your money's never really safe. Like it's always up to other people to not fuck your money over, which is like I don't know, make you feel sort of powerless, to be honest. You're like, I did everything right, and then somebody else fucked up and lost all my money for me, which just sucks. It's also like I don't know, like I feel like this year we actually played the crypto market super fucking well. Like we cashed out at the right time, and then I still lost like $10,000 in a Harmony hack, and then I almost just lost a bunch of money from like it's like had no fault of my own. I did everything right and actually called everything and was like predicting stuff correctly, and still could lose a shit ton of money. Like I don't know, I'm getting like kind of worn down on DeFi personally. It's just like the exposure to risk is just insane.
I think that's a very fair, like a lot of people are like of that opinion where it's like, oh, whoops, I clicked on the wrong one. Where it's like about you have, you know, it's not just about buying and holding long term. If you're invested into stable coins and stuff like that, there is risk outside of, you know, your network and your control. And that risk is constant. So, you know, if you are like me managing your risk exposure to some of this stuff, you're making transactions at like 1 a.m. on a fucking weekend. And that sucks. You know, like that's not great. So like
yeah,
I definitely
I would say like buying and holding crypto is a passive investment. Any sort of DeFi thing is not a passive. Like you need to pay attention to your positions or you can get wrecked like in 12 hours. So like I wouldn't consider DeFi a passive investment or even close to it, which I do think is kind of like a misconception of DeFi. People are like, oh, I can just park my money in this liquidity pool and make more money. But it's like often it doesn't work that way. Like you can lose money as easily as you can make it. So you have to really be paying attention to your positions, which at least for me, like I would have done at this point a lot better had I just held my Bitcoin and Ether than I participated in any of the DeFi stuff. Like I've lost more money than I've made at this point by also like due to like the Harmony hack and stuff. Like the amount of money I lost that Harmony hack is really hard to recover in trading gains. Like $10,000 is not a small amount of money that I can just recover.
I agree. I got hit like almost 3 times. I got like 30,000 like lost from that. And the loss is realized. Like even if they recover their peg, like I
realized my loss too, and I'm also glad I did. I would not be sleeping well if I still had all my money in fucking USDC.
I lost so much fucking money.
Oh, goddamn.
I would have lost like 80 or something if I had left it alone. So it's definitely a good, played it well enough, but man, like that wiped me out. That like it took out like 6 months worth of work because trading correctly and managing a DeFi strategy is work. Like you said, it's not passive.
Runway. That was my like 1 year runway to like not have to get a job. And it's like, well, that's gone. Yeah. So like, guess I'm working on set again. Because like my whole year rent just got wiped out overnight.
It's so fucking infuriating because we did so well and we traded so correctly and paid such close attention.
We called everything right, like to the fucking T on the stream. You can go check last Tuesday for the last year. It's on YouTube. Like called everything fucking right and still lost more money than we made. Like the space is dangerous as fuck.
It is very, very risky. And like I'm a big fan of Angle protocol and the AG Euro token, but the Euler oh man, this is such deep DeFi shit. The Euler what is it? It's a DeFi product that's like a behind the scenes protocol, was exploited 2 days ago, or yesterday morning. And from what I can tell, it looks like the backing of the AG Euro was robbed, potentially $17 million, meaning potentially AG Euro is also going to depeg, which fucking blows. Because I mean, I participate in those pools too, and I consider a lot of those pools relatively stable. If I'm participating in a pool that's like Euro and USDC, both of those are tokens I don't expect to lose their peg. And you know, it sucks that the treasury funds are, you know, affected by DeFi exploits on other projects because a portion of the treasury is held, you know, through those protocols. Same with, you know, Coinbase holds some of its fund on Compound protocol on blockchain. So if Compound experienced a loss, like Coinbase might be exposed. they'll probably cover it for you. But when you're dealing with open source DeFi like DAOs, they don't really have the venture capitalist funds to cover a hack. But that's still developing. The Euler, you can look that one up if you want. That one's.
Least Comic Sammy has a good point here that I'd like to read. He says, entire currencies can fall. US dollar is the global reserve currency, but it can also fail. I think that's a really good point that a lot of people that don't live in America don't think of. Like, just because you're cashing into fiat doesn't mean the US dollar could not fail. So, like, this is not a financial advice show. It says so at the bottom of the banner. But, like, if you really want to mitigate your risk, you shouldn't only hold one fiat. Like, you should have fiat from other countries. So if the US dollar fails, you don't lose all your money. And there are also crypto stablecoins. So, like, if you're holding a portion of your money in stablecoin, maybe get the euro peg. There's euro pegged stablecoins that are pegged to euros instead of the US dollars. So if the US dollar collapses, you still have something pegged to a fiat currency. But I'm also not really at the point where I feel comfortable recommending stablecoins after almost getting screwed. After seeing like all the failures in stablecoins, like, I don't know if I could even recommend holding a stablecoin to anybody at this point, because I think I'm going to liquidate most of my stablecoin holdings. Because I might keep a little bit just to mess with some DeFi, but like, it's going to be like, this is what I'm actually willing to lose. And like right now, my stablecoin holdings is like my bank. Like, I can't afford to lose that stuff.
Here's another example of a currency you could invest in the crypto space. It's called PAXG. That's it's like a paper gold asset, effectively. So PAX Gold is what the name of that coin is. It tracks the value of an ounce of gold and is redeemable, or is physically backed by, rather, gold held.
Where's the gold? Is it all just like chilling in like a vault somewhere?
Yeah, they have an audited vault that actually like is maintained by them and is like audited and run in the United States. It's the same company.
Your job, though, that would be badass. The vault manager, you're just like, yeah, I'm sitting on fucking like pounds of fucking gold,
like kilos of gold. Yeah, it's wild. But there is options that are like, because this, I would still consider this kind of like a stable coin asset, because it is pegged to something outside of the crypto market. And what if like the gold backing like vault gets heisted and they like steal the gold physically?
I think what we need is like a different word to describe stable coins. It's more like a backed asset.
Derivatives or like synthetic. I like synthetic. It's a synthetic dollar. So it's like not real dollars, they're synthetic, and you have to redeem them for real dollars. Like Disney bucks.
I feel like it's not apparent that like the value is backed. I don't know. It's hard to like stablecoin, they're not always stable. So I feel like it's like a misconception. The word sounds too forgiving. Like it's like they're not guaranteed to be stable necessarily. It's like they're worth whatever the assets backing them are worth. And those assets can either get lost or stolen or whatever, but like that isn't apparent from the name.
Let's see, Forex.
I also think it's kind of it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's misleading in the sense that stable coins are supposed to hold value, correct?
Yeah.
That's what stable is. Stable is not changing in value. What happens with inflation? Are you gaining or losing value when your stable coins are inflating? So it's like they're not even stable in value necessarily. So like I don't know. They're pegged to a dollar, but a dollar isn't stable. A dollar fluctuates in value. So there's nothing stable about a dollar pegged coin, in my opinion. Like it's a fluctuating value asset like anything else. So like, I don't know. I don't like the name stablecoin.
I kind of agree. So there's an interesting point too that kind of leads back to the first thing we started talking about, and is probably a good place to wrap up the whole stablecoin debacle from the weekend. But so USDC has like $45 billion worth of stablecoins that are minted on the blockchain. So they are, circulating and trading and, acting as dollars in the crypto market and as the backbone for kind of DeFi. Now there's also a physical backing of dollars that's held by Circle and managed by BlackRock of actual $45 billion. Now those dollars are, like I said, 70, almost 80% invested into 4 to 6 month T-notes from the Treasury. Those T-notes make interest. Now, interest on T-notes, 6 months T-notes, isn't crazy good. It's maybe like 1.8% or whatever. But if you're making, let's just for easy math say 1% on your money, in a year, and that money is $45 billion. 1% of that is $450 million. So in the backing side of USDC, there is interest generated that is not connected to or owed to the USDC crypto side. And as federal interest rates increase, the yield of short-term treasury notes increases as well. So in the worst case scenario, where Circle, let's say, does lose all of the $3.3 billion that they had exposed at the Silicon Valley Bank, which the Federal Reserve has already said they were replacing all of the uninsured funds. So from my understanding, that they aren't going to lose that. But if they would, it is still reasonable to believe they would be able to close that hole of the $3.3 billion in backing within a year or two of just earning interest or, passively investing their backing funds into relatively short-term treasury bonds. And as federal interest rates increase, their ability to do so increases as well. So the rising interest rates from the Federal Reserve, while absolutely not great for the existing banking industry because they're all over leveraged long like a bunch of morons, it might actually be pretty good for Circle and for its US dollar backing, because they tend to keep their assets much shorter vesting terms. So like I said, almost 75-80% of it is in 4 to 6 month T notes. And that's an interesting point too, because as that stack of backing money earns interest, the interest it earns is not paid to people who hold USDC. And so there is a revenue stream, and there is a reason why a venture capitalist might come in and make up that $3 billion hole to get exposure to being made whole through that type of passive generating from such a large position. And that's that's the kind of business that BlackRock deals in.
It seems like it's a lot smarter too to do those short ones than a 10-year one. A 10-year one just seems like a fucking bad idea. It's like if people do try to exit out, at least Circle can get the money back in 3 to 6 months. Whereas like
the 10-year one is a great idea. The 10-year one is a great idea when interest rates are crazy high. So like if interest gets to like 6 or 7%,
interest is low. So why would you lock in 10 years at a low rate? That doesn't make any.
Yeah, they were locking into this shit during COVID when it was like the historic low for interest. It was literally 0% sometimes, So it's like, what do you fucking do? I mean, obviously the bond wasn't 0%, but like the interest rate at the time, meaning that the bond rate was shit. So it makes sense to buy those bonds, but not when they're the fucking cheapest they've been in history. And, you just don't understand how to manage risk, apparently, or even run a bank that remains solvent when people demand liquidity. And guess what? You're in the business of liquidity. Like banking is providing liquidity for your clients. I don't know. It's very frustrating to see this because, again, I think a lot of the blame seems to be shifting towards like, crypto or like other nonsense where it's market conditions or like some bullshit that's just like there's nothing forcing you to take 10-year vesting terms. You choose to do that, and when you make those decisions and they bite you in the ass, it's your fault, not like the markets or the fucking crypto exposure on your balance sheet. But
true,
yeah, that kind of like is a quick summary of what was happening this weekend with the USDC and that effect that rippled through the DeFi and through the centralized finance system. We can still see the fallout of that if we're looking on chain with liquidity. Like you can see this pool should be 50-50 and it's 88-11. So, definitely still quite a bit of investor weariness surrounding USDC, which is very interesting because USDT has always had this kind of rumor about its solvency, but they don't make fucking mistakes like this. Say what you will, but USDT has kept its peg for like 10 years. Like that shit's been out for so long, and like honestly, it might not be solvent and someday it'll come crashing down in spectacular fashion, but the risk of that has been priced into the market for like half a decade. Like we're aware of that risk, whereas the risk of Circle and its reserve was a lot less in question before this weekend. So it's definitely, it makes sense why we're still seeing this fallout and why, the investor confidence is heavily favoring USDC at the moment as far as stablecoins go. And also I'm expecting to see more people taking Binance's lead and moving maybe into on-chain assets directly, which I think also helps to explain a bit of today's pump. So I think that's a decent transition. Let's take a look at crypto today.
I also as a crypto enthusiast, that's big news that they trust crypto more than they trust stable coins and fiat, which is that's kind of a big move to be moving that much money into assets that are speculative in value. Also, before we totally end that, I just want to say that BlackRock is such an intense fucking name. It sounds like it should be the villain group in a Mission Impossible movie. It's just the BlackRock agency is they're gonna fucking nuke the fucking US if we don't stop this thing. That's what BlackRock sounds like to me. So
yeah,
also
BlackRock, it's a massive hedge fund. It's fucking.
It just sounds it sounds evil for some reason. I don't know why. It just sounds
a little bit. They do a lot of they make a lot of their money in the military industrial complex, which I mean every bank does.
That's
so
evil. Making your money making stuff that kills people, I'd say, is not.
That's
not the
pretty
best.
evil. Yeah.
Also, shout out to BlackRock, which is the only reason I heard the name prior is a hip hop group made by the Black Keys. The Black Keys did hip hop remixes, had rappers rap over stuff, and it's called BlackRock, but it's spelled with ROC instead of ROCK. It's BLCKROC. Pretty cool hip hop album that came out in the late 2000s. If you're interested in a blues band trying to make hip hop.
Inside
Is it from Lost? Is BlackRock in Lost too?
BlackRock, is it? Lost.
BlackRock.
Let's see.
Now we're getting off the rails, but this is my.
I'm trying to think. Wait, Lost. It's the Dharma.
It's in the Lost. It's the fully rigged 19th century British ship that's found in the jungle.
Oh, it's the name of the ship. Okay.
Yeah, which is it shows up in Exodus Part 1, so I think that's the last season, right?
Yeah, that is the last season.
So they wake up on that ship and yeah.
It's a whole flashback to the Man in Black and the Man in White, Jacob and
I wouldn't have remembered that. I'll also say I don't think I understood the last couple of seasons of Lost. We've had a couple of conversations on air where I was yeah, it was just purgatory, right? And you're no, and I was okay, I didn't understand what that entire series was. I don't get the ending to Lost. I thought I did, but I think I'm dumb. Let's talk about this on Thursday, though. Go back to the crypto market. Sorry, everybody. I derail everything when I talk, and I'm not good at tech stuff.
It's not too bad. We've gotten into some fun stuff here. But yeah, let's take a look at the crypto market. We're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. We usually keep our eyes closely on these ones because they kind of lead the charge for the rest of the crypto market. This is the daily chart. So each of these candles represents one day. And we had expected last week for the market to kind of sell off. And we have seen a bit of that sell off. But that sell off was, bouncing pretty aggressive here over the weekend. At the end of the weekend, kind of Sunday, it started to do this. And part of this has to do with, in my opinion, the lead up to the CPI report being published. People want to know what inflation rates are and want to know what the Federal Reserve's reaction will be to inflation reports. And obviously, raising inflation rates will increase interest rate hikes by the Fed, and increased rate hikes by the Fed will drive the crypto and the equity markets down lower. There is a lot of volatility today and over this week too, because obviously we've moved from 1600 to 1450 and then spiked to 1700 today, and this is all within the last week. So we're starting to bounce around a little bit aggressively here, and part of that has to do with, I think, investors getting mixed signals here. So the signals that the Federal Reserve has given in the past are that they intend to continue to increase rates every time they do the FOMC meetings, which the next one is, I think, in 11 days from now. So that is basically a timeline they've given, and they've definitely been firm on the language they've used in the past, saying that they don't intend to ease up on doing these types of interest rate hikes. Now, this week we got all these bank runs happening. We have small banks failing, and the Federal Reserve, the FDIC insurance stepping in to bail out already failed balance sheets for banks, making creditors whole and trying to step in, aggressively halting activities. They're doing a lot of things like we talked about earlier, that are a little bit aggressive, and maybe not immediately merited, but also they are aggressive because they may be trying to like get ahead of a bigger problem to contain this problem before it, its contagion affects other banks, and they need to like ramp up this thing. And in light of all of that activity, a lot of market players and analysts, specifically like some major analysts like at JP Morgan or at Bloomberg and stuff, have been saying that they no longer believe the Fed will continue to raise rates, because raising those rates will fuck up more banks. Because if the Fed, like we've already kind of covered, but I'll just give a really quick overview, because if the Fed keeps raising rates, then the existing treasury bonds held by many of these banks will keep losing value as new bonds are available with better rates. And so the existing unrealized losses that current banks are holding onto will grow if the Fed increases those rates. And so the Fed increasing rates can potentially harm the existing banking situation further and push that, like be a catalyst for like maybe a major bank crisis, which they're trying to avoid. So some of these analysts are saying, in an effort to avoid, what's the word, like exacerbating the existing banking conditions, that the Fed will maybe not increase the rates. I still think, based on today's CPI reports, the inflation of the US dollar is up 6% year over year. That's fucking massive. It's down slightly month over month, which, a lot of people are seeing and being like, oh, good, it's like not going up. But what you really got to look at is that core inflation metric. That is very high still. It's still kind of on the rise. It definitely merits a rate hike. So the mixed signals of will they, won't they increase the rates is definitely creating a lot of volatility in these markets. So I'm expecting volatility. It's hard to gauge a direction at the moment until the FOMC meeting happens in 11 days. So what I imagine we'll see is, let me pull up our lines that we've drawn. So these are kind of like, this green is the top of our last range, and this green is the bottom of our new range that we're looking for if we're moving up. What I imagine is we'll probably bounce like we are right now between the middle of this new range and the middle of this old range until the FOMC meeting. So I imagine we'll probably chop around here in the next week or so, and then probably pick a direction once the FOMC meeting happens and the Federal Reserve announces, is the rate increasing, or is the money printer getting turned back on to, like, and if they do decide to do that, then all these markets will very likely shift bull, and we'll see another run up in equities. But I don't think that's not a very good move on the Federal Reserve's part. They look very heavily at the core inflation metric to influence their decision making, and that metric is not looking great. So my assumption is that the FOMC meeting is going to announce at least a 2.25 point hike. Probably, like, I think they should do a 0.5%, like a 0.5. But if they do 0.5%, I expect these markets to sell off, and that means stocks, cryptos. The only thing we'll do well is cash. You'll see cash, like the DXY, will climb. The DXY, for those who are uninitiated, I guess. I hear some kind of sub or raid or something.
Thank you for the raid, and if you shout out Taco Tuesday, I believe it is. We're going over some tech stuff. We were talking about how USDC lost peg, and then kind of, I guess, how that affects the overall crypto market is where we're at now.
Yeah. And so basically my assumption is that the inflation numbers we saw in today's CPI report still merit a Federal Reserve interest hike. And I do believe that in 11 days from now, I think it is, maybe more, I forget how many days. But if you just Google FOMC meetings, fuck it, I'll just Google it. We can look it up. So it's FOMC meeting. I spell all three words wrong here, just for shits. Let's see. We just want to find the calendar. Schedule 2023. Here it is. March 21st. So that is, was I right? Is it 11 days from now? 8 days from now already. Okay, so we're coming up. It's next week, Tuesday. Wonderful. The meeting starts Tuesday. The results won't be in until Wednesday. But so next week, Tuesday, we'll have basically the next FOMC meeting. The FOMC meeting is when the Federal Reserve will announce its plans to address the inflation that we just saw. Yo. So we are, in my opinion, until this meeting happens, which is, like still about a week out, we will probably continue to see some volatility. And like I said, if inflation is increased by 0.5%, that's great for the dollar. And so here I pulled up the chart. DXY is the ticker, but that represents the US dollar currency index. And you can see here, this is actually really clean. It's been trending down quite aggressively during the, this is, what is this, Wednesday, the October 2022, all the way till February. And while it trends down, we can see, Bitcoin doing a nice little pump. Let's see where I go the same.
Thank you for the gift subs too. I didn't know we even had a gifted. Like it used to just show up who got gifted the subs. And now it's fucking going crazy in here. Let's go. Should I turn on some hype music for a second? Hype music.
Generally speaking. Go on.
Okay, back to Tech Talk. We just need a 3-second hype.
Yeah. Generally speaking, the DXY will move in inverse from the equity markets. So as the dollar gains strength, people, buy into the dollar, buy the dollar by selling equities. So usually when the dollar climbs or the DXY is on the rise, I expect equities and cryptos to fall. We are looking kind of at a resistance point here on the strength bands from my indicator. If we can also pull up a couple other ones like the Bollinger Bands and take a look here. Closing a little bit below, but we are getting right up on the strength band bounce here. We'll see what happens. I think, again, we're probably most likely going to be chopping around. Kill the Bollinger Bands because I feel like they don't look as nice. My assumption for this week, though, is we're going to be chopping around in here between an Ethereum price of 1750.60 and all the way down to about 1350 or so on the low end of this range. And then we'll probably get our information from the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting next week, Tuesday, when I imagine these markets will get direction and, effectively get their marching orders from the Fed chair, and we'll pick a direction up or down. So I expect we're going to be potentially relatively volatilely swinging in a pretty wide range here in the coming weeks. So let's take a look a little bit further out too on this market. This is still Ethereum. I'm going to hide the support lines here.
Also, quickly, I just want to interject. We'll do an NFT giveaway after some of this stuff because I know not everybody that just joined from NFT Gamer TV is necessarily interested in market analysis and stuff. We are a NFT collectible brand, Neon Space. We make NFTs on the Wax blockchain. We're artists. Tuesday is just specifically our tech-oriented stream. So sorry if you're not super into this stuff, but we do on other days. And also at the end of the stream, we'll do some NFT giveaways and probably look at the Funko drop today because we haven't looked at the Dungeons and Dragons drop yet, and that just happened today. So
I'm always into that.
Stay tuned if you'd like to hear that, but back to Tech Talk for now.
Yeah, I promise it's not forever here. I'm almost done with what I wanted to see about the market. But what I've been seeing here, let's take a look. We're still on the daily. And you can see during this run up here, we had a decent amount of money entering the market again. So this is the on balance volume. It shows us money generally leaving or entering an asset. And you can see that since we kind of like got here, that money's been kind of clawing its way back out of the market, despite the price being about the same. So now you can see in the daily chart right now here with this red line, we're about at the same price we saw here at the peak of these candles. But when we look at that on the on balance volume, you can see that that is significantly lower, meaning that, effectively, at least on Coinbase, the amount of money in the market to get this price is lower than it was to have that same price a few days ago or weeks ago at this point. Generally speaking, what I want to see to be confirming that we're continuing an uptrend is a climbing on balance volume alongside a climbing spot price. And because we're seeing a falling on balance volume, and again, we're only looking at a few weeks here, so we shouldn't put too much weight into this. But when we zoom out, you can see that is kind of what we got here after, you know, the major sell-off kind of cooled off all the way back in like July. And we hit the floor. You can see since then, the unbalanced volume has still been clawing its way down and down and down. And that has given us a decent amount of confirmation bias, effectively, that we aren't flipping the trend around. So you can actually see that if I cut off the chart to like here, where it looked like, oh, look at that nice little recovery. But during that recovery, the on balance volume, you know, which we got a price almost back to here. But then you can see, you know, here is where the on balance volume was. So we definitely are making lower highs. And that gives us a little bit more confidence that, yeah, maybe this market is still selling off. That way, once we flipped here to the red strength band and we got our bear print, we kind of can ignore a bull print signal because it's making a lower high still comparatively. And that's basically the way I use the on balance volume indicator. And we're seeing a similar thing here where, like, yeah, we got a big pump in the last couple of days, but man, the volume did not come with it. And this makes me feel like this is kind of a fake out pump, short term. It'll reverse and at the very least chop back down to the bottom of its range before bouncing and maybe retesting the higher limit again, which is what I'm thinking for this week. Let's also zoom once all the way out to the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we're still clean in the bear market here. Still haven't flipped our strength band to green or gotten our bull print, which I'm looking for. I trade this kind of like religion much more than any of the other charts. The weekly chart shows me, you know, great entry and exit points into the market. You know, like last time before when we flipped green here, I would have bought in at $200 and I wouldn't have sold until we hit 3,600. So wonderful, keeping an eye on this. I want to see this flip green, and you know, since we're closing above the strength band multiple weeks now, pretty good like sign of maybe the market is starting to slow down. But again, I want to see the on balance volume making a higher high, and you can see here again, we're at the same price level that we have seen before in this bear market. And during the last time we saw these prices, the on balance volume was still higher. So despite the price making it back to these ranges, we're still considering this a lower high. And this is still a bearish trend as far as I'm concerned. What I want to see is, you know, a bull print and a flip on the strength band to green, but also a higher high, or at the very least, a higher low. So if we do pull back here now and fall back below the strength band, and maybe to these old prices like we saw here in this range, which is quite low, you know, 1250 or something, 1300. I want to see the on balance volume keep a higher level than it is here, to then get a little bit of confidence that, hey, this low isn't looking to go lower, but rather to find support here and start moving up again. For now, there's no rush to try to time the bottom or the top. I don't think it's necessarily the best move to jump in on positions until we get the FOMC meeting. So I think this week is going to be quite volatile. And if you if you're kind of a power trader, there are a few assets you can trade that are tracking volatility. In stocks, that's like the VIX, the VIX index. And in crypto, there's a CVI token, which tracks crypto volatility. Those are really power user things to trade, very short term. You should hold those. And know what you're doing before you mess with them. But there is options to bet not on price direction, but rather on volatility. So that's kind of a nice place to stop that. Let's actually really quick look at the wax market too while we're here. So on wax, let's look at the day. On wax, we had a great run up here on the daily. We finally lost support last week, kind of like flipped the trend. We've been very much oversold on the way down, and now we're starting to kind of come back. It's possible, I think, we retest this strength band here. So 7.6 cents rather. And then if we can, if we can hold above that for a day, wonderful. We might move a little higher, but we may also not be able to do so and be rejected here. The other thing to note is also the on balance volume. We've talked about this a few times in the past, but while crypto has been selling off, since the kind of drop to here, you can see the on balance volume climbing despite the price falling. That's generally speaking pretty bullish indicator of accumulation, and that can lead to pretty large swings, like pumps in price when people are accumulating the asset and eventually stop selling. We'll have to see how that goes. Right now I'm getting kind of mixed signals here. On the daily, we are kind of looking to be rejected at 7 cents, 7.5 cents, and if we are, I do expect we'll at the very least make it back to the previous level here, 5.8 or so, but possibly also retrace the entire pump and just range around until we see what happens with the general market. Again, I like wax below 8 cents. I bought at 8. I bought at 4, I think. And it's always a good idea if you're interested in purchasing an asset like wax to buy incrementally. Like it's not the best idea to try to time in the market and buy all of your stack at once. But like when you see a nice, red day, maybe a big sell-off happening, and you've been waiting to buy some wax, instead of like looking at the immediate, like, oh, next week will it be lower? If you're planning to be in it long term, it might be a decent time to start like buying a small amount and then buying a small amount next red day and continuing to like accumulate a position. And again, that's the type of like strategy that this represents. When you see rising on balance volume and falling price, that generally speaks to people accumulating the asset in that manner. And we can also verify other block markets. So this was Qcoin, this is Binance now, similar accumulation trend. We can jump over to Bitrex, also accumulating, but definitely got a nice lower low here when we hit the floor at 5 cents recently, but then made a higher high again on the way back up. So a little bit of a mixed signal over at Bitrex. Qcoin we already saw. And let's check. Yeah, we pretty much checked all the big ones. Let's see. I don't know what this one is, but yeah, damn aggressive accumulation in this run up here. But yeah, so keeping an eye on all that. I still think we're going to be ranging this week, and let's move on from looking at the market and maybe make some position shifts in our 100 wax investment with this information. So every week, every Tuesday, I take 100 wax investment that I've made, and I like to shuffle it around the DeFi options on wax to earn more than 100 wax over time. The stated goal of this experiment is to grow the wax balance, not the US dollar value. So we are only paying attention to that aspect of it. But let's jump into that. So last week we did a little bit of a shuffle around. We moved some more of our capital from, I think, from honey wax. We moved over into box wax. And the reason we did that was because we see the rewards for honey wax coming to an end this week. And we expect that while maybe honey wax will potentially reissue new rewards, so you can see here's the honey wax that we're in, and you can see in 5 days these rewards will end. And we don't know if they're going to be extended beyond this. And because we only do these moves on Tuesdays, 5 days would see us having at least 2 days without any rewards.
We could probably just text Ben and ask him right now.
We could do that.
I guess we could. He makes these rewards. Like, I'm personal friends with him in this base.
You want to reach out and ask him? Because I was just going to go with what we have publicly available information. I was just going to be like, based on this,
I think he'd tell anybody though. Like, I don't think this is like secret information. It's just, are you asking him? And
you would have to know enough to be like, oh, this is, Ben is the guy behind NFT Hive. Who knows? But sure. I guess that's true. Anyone could know that.
Here we go. Be Wicked says, Ben publicly said I might extend it if everyone is fine with it. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, okay. So he might, if we want.
That seems like a definitely maybe.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like what I like to do for this position is go with the more definites over like trying to speculate.
That's fine. I also, I guess, meant more internally. I can also ask him because I know you invest in this outside of this wallet. So,
yeah, what I've done in my personal wallet is because I like Honey and NFT Hive and all that stuff. I pulled my liquidity and I took the Honey side of it and I just staked it on NFT Hive, and I have the Wax side of it just liquid in my wallet right now. I'm not sure if that's the best strategy yet. It's just what I've done in order to like get ahead of what we were expecting to happen in this pool, which again, a lot of people participate in here, and our expectation from last week, why we scaled down a little bit, was that people are going to exit this pool because of the uncertainty of the rewards sticking around.
This is off topic, but did you know that Nifty Blocks charges us 2% of every sale we do on their website? Like every pack people buy from us, they get 2% of, which I thought that was waived because we're level 3 stakers. But NFT Hive only charges 1% on their drops, so we'd actually be making money if we switched to NFT Hive. So I'm considering moving our drops over to NFT Hive. I don't know if our community has any strong opinions on that. I know some people don't love the interface of NFT Hive, but like, I don't know. I'm pretty frustrated with how Nifty has been treating level 3 stakers as far as like they aren't. Like we bought this thing so we can continue to use their services over time and not have to keep reinvesting. And now they move the goalposts, and now we have to keep paying for new services. And it's like, well, what do we even get? Like 45K Nifty.
If we had just kept the funds liquid in cash at the time, we would have more than enough to pay for any new services. But that was the point of like paying for.
Yeah, we left them in the Nifty token because we assumed that token was going to give us access to new stuff. So it's like we still have to pay for the drops. Everything you can do on Nifty, you can now do on NFT Hive for free, and they charge less for it. So I'm starting to be that's like, why aren't we just using the tools made by the creators that are actually helping creators and not like making profile pictures on Polygon that nobody has shit. Which I don't know. Shout out to Nifty for helping us in our early days, but it seems like they've sort of forgotten who was the people that gave them all the money to like creators gave them all their money. Like creators paid for the Nifty token. It was all creators, and now they just went like. They're trying to make products catering to customers, not creators. And it's like, those aren't the people that paid you for the Nifty token in the first place. So like, it's frustrating as someone who is like bought into it to hopefully like use their new tools. They haven't really introduced any new tools for level 3 staker. Like, when's the last tool you remember they introduced for a level 3 staker that was free to use? I can't even remember one, like literally for like a year and a half. It's been a long time.
No, it's been a long time.
So we're sort of disappointed with that. And like, we like to support the people that are building for Wax, and it seems like NFT Hive is taking over what Nifty Blocks was doing as far as like indie creators can make pre-minted packs for free. They're charging less for drops. You can use your own tokens. Nifty Blocks charges you to use your own token. Like all this stuff that Nifty is paywalling, NFT Hive does for free, which just makes it easier for creators to do stuff. So those are sort of the people I would like to support as a creator on Wax. It's like, if any marketplace is going to get a percentage of our drop, I'd like to give it to the people that are helping creators the most. That appears to right now be NFT Hive. But then the downside to that is NFT Hive is not as reputable and not as many people know about it. So like we might not get as much traffic as we do as Nifty Blocks as far as people are looking for new drops on Nifty Blocks, I think more than NFT Hive. So like that's like the part that we have to decide as a business is like, do we want to put our business where like we will potentially make more money, but then some of it goes to people we don't like as much, or move where we might make less money overall, but then more of it's going to people we support. So like,
supporting a community that's like building the tools that we're using.
I honestly wouldn't mind doing Atomic Hub drops at this point, since like Atomic Hub charges you 2%, I think, but I was like, I didn't realize Nifty is also charging us 2%. So why even bother doing the drops through Nifty at that point? They're not giving us anything for a stake. So just make all the pre-minted packs on Nifty for free, and then drop those packs as drops on. Like if we can do that on Atomic Hub, like it might be. Atomic Hub has like my favorite interface of all of them. So maybe we just.
I agree, and that's also where the traffic is.
But yeah, I don't know if the community has any. Yeah, I guess Monosword is saying personally, I think the Nifty interface isn't any better. The only problem I ever have at figuring out which market project decides to throw a drop on month to month. So as long as we're consistent, he's saying. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can reach out to the thing. I think that our issue with I think pre-minted stuff was an issue with Atomic Hub. Like, I don't know if you can make pre-minted drops. I think that was the reason why we went to Nifty in the first place, because everything was mint on demand that you can make through the creator tools of Atomic Hub. But that was also like 2 years ago. They might have updated their creator tools. We haven't touched trying to do a drop on Atomic Hub since maybe June 2021. Like, it's been quite some time, almost 2 full years since we've done a drop at Atomic Hub. So maybe we'll start dropping Atomic Hub again, but Yeah, I think we might move away from Nifty is my main point. Like, unless they're going to do more for us, why should we give them business if they're not supporting us as creators? You know, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
at least right now. Somebody's, like, been
not
promoting
just not
telling
supporting,
everybody
but like straight up. Yeah, I feel like straight up, like not even
everybody to
supporting
get
us.
Nifty rewards. Like, we told people about their liquidity pool. You literally invented their liquidity pool for them. You told them how to do it. Like, we've done nothing but been like super supportive of them. And then I feel like they just kind of like left us to hang out to dry and like we're in a private channel with them, and like I don't like the way their customer service with us is going. Like, took like a week for them to even get back to me from a message where it's like the whole point of this private channel is about like we get stuff solved quickly. We're a week and a half into talking, and you haven't quoted me how much it costs to do this thing that I asked if you could do for us a week and a half ago. Like, this is, I don't know, to me unacceptable as a customer. So I'm willing to move my business elsewhere, but it is what it is. But I also feel that trash Nifty blocks is like we couldn't have done what we did for the entire first year without Nifty blocks. Atomic Hub didn't have blending. Atomic Hub didn't have permitted packs. Like, they helped us a shit ton. And like everything you know and love about Neon Space today is because of Nifty blocks, basically. Like, they allowed us to create the blend.
They pushed a lot of innovation in the early days. They shaped a lot of what the wax space looks like based on like the tools they created back then, but it doesn't seem like a lot of creation has come out of it since then, honestly. And even like some of the blend tools like that they made back then, like you can blend stuff on like wax DAO with more complexity.
Hive has even more intense blends. Like NFT Hive, you can blend stuff back into stuff. So you can like, we can make like a neon tube, and you could fit like 5 neon signs in that tube, and then those tubes could be a set. So you could sell your sets as a single NFT. Versus like, oh, how do you list a set on the market? You cannot, but we as creators can make set bonuses that you can blend in and out of. So you can list it as a set, and then somebody can blend back into the NFTs with the original mints and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Other things they've done is they've created blends that don't burn ingredients. So you can blend an NFT, and instead of burning it, it sends it to a wallet instead of burning it in the smart contract. Like, Nifty doesn't do that either. So like, NFT Hive is actually innovating past where Nifty was. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather support the people that are like, and that's all free. They've never charged anybody for any of those tools. So like, they didn't paywall it for a $7,000 payment to get 45K Nifty, and they're already out developing Nifty. So like, I would like to support NFT Hive as someone, again, like, it sucks their interface isn't as nice and people don't know about it as well. Because like, I don't want to hurt our business, but I would like to support NFT Hive because I do think they're doing the best for creators right now.
Yeah. If you're not aware, the bulk tools also, I've been using those for fucking ever.
That's the other thing is Nifty, which I didn't realize when we bought our Nifty stake. Nifty is a blockchain producer, and it is in their fucking like contract as a blockchain producer. They have to create tools for the Wax blockchain. So like, them creating those paywalled tools, they were already kind of getting paid for that as blockchain producers, which is what NFT Hive says. They're like, oh no, we already get paid for that. That's what we do as blockchain producers. It's our job to create these tools, so we do it for free because we're doing what's good for the Wax ecosystem, what's not good for our pockets. So like, NFT Hive does actually, in that sense, seem more community focused, even though Nifty Blocks seems to be the community one. Like, they paywalled all their shit. It's free now, but only because NFT Hive was stealing their business because they made it for free. Like, they wouldn't have made it for free if other people didn't offer it for free, in my opinion. Like, they just realized no one is going to use their shit anymore if you could do the same thing on NFT Hive. And people use their marketplace when creators do drops on their thing. So they're trying to keep the creators on their site so NFT Hive doesn't get more business, basically. But it ended up hurting the creators because they took away the value of our stake. So
yeah,
there's definitely a bit of competition going back and forth that is both helping and hurting creators.
Yeah, definitely. I think like they definitely helped like
you know how we would have lost money if Nifty didn't charge us in the first place for those tools. We lost money because they charged us for something that somebody else did for free, which you could blame NFT Hive, or you could blame the person that charged you in the first place for something somebody else is willing to do for free. So like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't love that they charge us for a token when it's their job to build tools for creators on the blockchain. And I did not know that was a thing because I didn't understand how OIG and blockchain producers works when we bought our Nifty stake. So I have a little bit of a different opinion on Nifty than I did like back then. I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, they're not making any money because like everything's for free on their marketplace. It's like, oh, they are making. That was in the middle of a bull run, and they were making like a lot of fucking wax. Like, as far as blockchain producers back then, were very, very profitable at that time. Right now, they're not as profitable because wax is worth much less. But when wax was fucking like 40 cents, they were getting paid the same amount of wax as they are now. So like, they were making pretty good money on just being blockchain producers. So the fact that they were also charging us for creator tools is like kind of shitty in my opinion, especially when they rug pulled all the utility from those creator tools. But again, we couldn't have done like
really
anything we could do without them. So like, I'm definitely grateful.
They also partnered with like Uplift in that crowd really aggressively. After they
fucking love
did
Uplift.
to people.
They kind of constantly promote like not great projects in my opinion, like official announcements in their Discord, like Landbox. They're like, we're partnered with Landbox. It's like the community doesn't like this. Like, I don't know, like you're propping up crappy projects that have like scam people and stuff. Like,
they're also like, oh, you can add your own token, but you have to have like 20,000 bilateral depth of liquidity on Alcor, which is like none of the projects like fucking Uplift, Yoshi Drops, none of those pools have that much liquidity. Like, why the fuck are you making me do that shit? And these shit coins you can support without that. That's
they said that we had to do that, but then like Yoshi Drops, Blvd and Uplift all didn't have that much liquidity in their liquidity pools. So they're like bending the rules to let
not even across all of their pools put together. Like, it was crazy. It's like, wait, how come these rules are so dynamic? Like, you just like pick and choose who has to follow them. That's not fucking legit. I'm fine with making rules, but then like they need to be unilateral. So there's been a lot of things on Nifty Blocks on the creator side that I'm like, you guys are kind of.
I also think if you look at their white paper, like 100% of the information is outdated on their white paper. Like, it's never updated it. Just like, I don't know. Nefty's they're doing okay, but I'm disappointed in the way that the first year was amazing. Second year for Nefty was basically just like, okay, I guess you added a few things like claim limits on blends that we asked for like a year prior. Like, they've added a couple things we asked for, but like the first year they were like fixing shit within like a week or two of us asking, and like they were really kicking ass as far as like everything we needed was coming out. They were listening to our feedback. Now, like the last feedback I gave them, they're basically just like, yeah, we don't think people want that, so we're not going to work on that. And I was like, awesome, thank you. Like, I was telling them we wanted a VRL redeem platform, so when y'all get stickers from us, you can freaking use a blend, and instead of having me to like manually burn everything and then like DM you claim codes, they
throw a little bit of shade. To throw just a little bit of shade, they're like, we don't think anyone wants that. It's like, oh, did you poll the community and see how many people wanted a profile project for Betsy?
How many people wanted a fucking Betsy profile picture project that was bridgeable to Polygon? I bet it's less people than want VRL redeemables on Wax. Like you clearly don't know what people want. You failed. I was talking to, I don't know, I'm actually not going to talk about that. I was talking to someone that probably doesn't want me about. I was about to say public information because it was a DM, but okay, I won't say who said it, but I will say what I was talking about. Basically, someone is like, the reason they did the profile picture thing is because they needed to raise money. And I was like, yeah, but they fucking sucked at that because of the failure of a sale. So if the whole point was a cash grab, they failed at a cash grab too, because they don't even know what the community wants. Like, they don't even have a temperature on the pulse of what people
participate
want.
In the community. Take feedback from people who've been like here since the beginning, rather than like, I don't know, the people who've been scamming and pulling the most money out of you.
I don't know. It's disappointing, but also like not many people are doing VRLs on Wax. They're probably actually right that there isn't a lot of demand, but also like there wasn't a demand for blending until they created blending. Like, people don't know they can do something that doesn't exist. So like, I don't think it's a good excuse that you shouldn't innovate because people don't know they don't want what doesn't exist.
People aren't asking for this tool. It's like, okay, stop making tools people are asking for. It's not working. Like, make fucking innovative.
They also aren't making tools people are asking for because they're not releasing new tools. They're releasing a bridge to Polygon. So it's like, I don't know like how they can even defend it that way. It's like, we're doing what the community wants, so we decided to make a bridge to Polygon. Who on Wax asked for a bridge to Polygon, and for what NFTs? The Betsy profile picture project that was a huge, massive failure flop of a sale. You just allocated a shit ton of resources to create a bridge for a flopped project. And also, the Wax core team just voted to create a bridge to Polygon. So they just wasted a shit ton of resources creating a bridge that the Wax team is going to make a bridge. So like, they're doing stuff the team that built the blockchain is already going to do.
Unreal, dude. It's definitely like you're spending money, and like they used to be so good about that, like just incorporating things that were already built versus like building them redundantly. And now it seems like they're
building redundant shit right now and wasting their time and resources on that, and then telling us stuff that we actually need is a waste of time. So like, that's why I'm frustrated with Nifty. Sorry for the verbal diarrhea in the middle of Tech Talk, but we were talking about Nifty and NFT Hive and Honey and stuff, and it's just like, I didn't realize that like NFT Hive had such good deals for creators. So like, I don't know. We might switch over there. We might encourage other creaters to start doing drops through that instead of Nifty, because
they're like
Nifty
for the users. Yeah, I think on that note, though, with the Honey token, with us being uncertain about the rewards coming out for the week, I'm gonna cut our position by 50%. So I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna sell the Honey side into Wax. The other thing that we did in this DeFi play since last week was we added liquidity to Box Wax. And the reason we did this, so look at that, we've gone up to 73 wax. Let's go. The reason that we did this and the reason why we thought it would be a good idea was because the Box token currently is trading at $1.57 on the Wax blockchain, while simultaneously on the EOS blockchain trading at a $1.85. So there exists a pretty significant opportunity for arbitrage where people are incentivized to buy Box Wax, deposit it to the centralized exchange that allows them to deposit Wax side Box token, and then withdraw that token into the EOS side, which that exchange I don't have personal access to because it operates out of Shanghai, I believe. But doing that to then sell the tokens on this swap, so effectively selling Box tokens here for $1.85 while simultaneously buying them here for $1, what is it, 50 something? For $1.57. So there's almost 30 cents per unit that you can pocket in arbitrage here. While this opportunity exists at this large of a percent, I'm a fan of this pool. Until that arbitrage opportunity drops to maybe like 10% or so price difference, I'll probably stay in this pool. So I think for the week coming, we should just keep our exposure to this pool unchanged. So I do still like, that's this one, Box Wax. We're at 73 wax in there now. The other pool we have is 50 wax. It climbed a little bit to 51. This is USDT and wax. This is a pure hedge against the price of wax falling off a cliff and dropping in terms of US dollar. If that does happen, this pool should use our US dollar, USDT, to buy into wax and hedge our position, because all of our other positions are more exposed to the wax price, like Wax Box. And then we got, Wax Wombat, Wax Honey, and NFTV Wax. So if wax falls, all of these tokens trade pretty much exclusively on wax, with the exception of Wombat, but Wombat currently doesn't have a bridge off of wax as I'm familiar with. So I'm kind of lumping it into that. So we keep our hedge. I think we also keep that unchanged. So for now, for this wallet, we're going to leave these two alone. So that's 73 plus 51. So 128 wax total plus the 4 wax here that we're about to reinvest.
I was only half paying attention, but for the new viewers, if Max didn't say this, we started with 100 wax. We're trying to make more wax. Did you say that?
Yeah. I'm also going to go here and claim. Yeah, so we started this wallet with just 100 wax, and we're trying to turn this into more than 100, and we're definitely succeeding.
That was also like almost a year ago at this point. Like we've been doing this for almost a year. Yes. I also think it might be worth at the 1 year point stopping and starting a new one. So like
starting a new one with, that's my plan. I'm gonna stop, turn whatever profit we have into like anything over 100 wax. I'm gonna put that into the rewards pool for the Neon rewards.
It's actually super cool. So if we make money, it just goes to the community that was watching.
Yeah, we'll just pay it out to the community that way, and then we'll use the remaining 100 to start over and do another 1 year.
The goal of this entire experiment is to make no more wax, not to make more money. This is not financial advice, but we always say you need a goal when it comes to investing, and there are different goals. So like to increase your US dollar value is one goal, to increase your wax value is another goal. So we want more wax, even if the wax is worth less in dollars. But that's just been the goal, is to get more wax. So that's another thing to be aware of. We're not necessarily trying to like end up with the highest dollar value.
Yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm trading the portion of the honey plus the rewards that we've earned from the week. I just claimed at Taco Swap, and I'm swapping the honey back into wax. I also have some rewards that I earned in Wombat and some that I earned in NFTV token. So I'll swap those. I'm leaving the Wombat rewards alone because that's the pool I'm going to compound into for the week. So I think today, what was that?
You guys a question. He says swap on DeFi Box for me from Box to USDT is 1.65800. Are you seeing it for 1.89? He's asking if you're seeing a different price impact than him on DeFi Box.
So swap Box on DeFi Box. I was doing that on EOS. So you see up here, I've changed to EOS.
You were probably looking on Wax then. That would make sense.
On EOS, it's $1.86. That's what I mean. On Wax, it's lower. So you can buy it cheaper on Wax right now, then sell it immediately on EOS and pocket.
How do you get to EOS though?
There's a centralized bridge exchange, OKX. If you have an account there, you can deposit Box tokens from the Wax blockchain, and then you can just withdraw them on the EOS blockchain. But I don't have an account.
Exchange.
Say again?
I thought that was like the HOO Who exchange, not OKX. Or is that like, are you positive it's OKX?
I'm not 100% positive, but I can look up.
Somebody else told me the Who exchange is down. So like the only bridge that I knew that worked was not working anymore. So that's why I'm.
So maybe that's why no one's capitalizing on the arbitrage right now.
But I think the centralized bridge was down if it was the Who exchange. I also have never tried, so this is just based on rumblings from the community. But somebody somewhere said the Who exchange doesn't work anymore, and that was the one that everybody is arbitraging on.
So it looks like Gate.io has a pair as well.
Yeah, Who doesn't look like it exists anymore.
Yeah,
also,
I guess
don't OKX or whatever the one you were saying.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, Gate.io. This is one that's based in Singapore, though. Established and registered in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
That's how you know it's legit.
Yeah, So maybe their bridge is down. I have to ask about that. But that could be why the arbitrage hasn't closed, because it has been available for a while.
No chat. Twitcher says there's no U.S. customers, I think, at Gate.io.
Yeah, there's not. It won't let you. You have to do proof of residency outside of the U.S. to make an account. So that's why I don't have an account there.
Max has already tried to arbitrage this. Like, I would have done
this.
That's
why I can't arbitrage this. But I am, instead of trying to directly arbitrage it personally, I'm simply supplying liquidity to the side of this asset where the arbitrage opportunity exists to, buy the asset from. And I want people to buy my Box tokens and give me more wax, because my stated goal for this this investment is to get more wax. So as the price of Box equalizes to what it is on the EOS side of this equation, my position in Box wax should grow in wax. And we can actually even see that here. If I just go over to the liquidity tab on the swap side here, and you can see when we started, I had 31 wax, and now I'm at 36 already. So as the price of Box is climbing, I am getting exactly what I want. So this is up about 10 wax bilaterally since we started already. And that's like 2 weeks. So that's not too bad. Making, that's like 20%. That's like 10% a week almost. Mostly informed by the existence of the arbitrage, not necessarily understanding how to exploit the arbitrage. So I do make this position assuming still that there is a way to go from Box wax to Box EOS. But if that's not the case, then this might not be the best move. But it has been working for 2 weeks to the tune of 10% a week, and the Box token has been well established for years on the EOS side, and the Box on wax still 1.7 million liquidity, and this is all like their actual project, and it's their contracts that are issuing these tokens. So I imagine there will be a bridge in the future, and as long as the arbitrage opportunity is in favor for my side of the equation, on the wax side, I'm okay with exposure to this pool for now. So I'm not going to increase that exposure, but I am going to leave it alone. What I do want to increase this week is the exposure to the wax Wombat pool. The KY told me about a distribution of 5 million, I think, new Wombat tokens that happened today or yesterday. And as those tokens were distributed on wax, and there is not really a great way off of wax right now with Wombat tokens, they will have been absorbed in the market already. And let's see if that took a hit on if we saw that take a dive a little bit. Oh, and we did. So you can see that Wombat token has sold off a little bit today because there was a new distribution of more tokens issued on the Wax blockchain for Wombat. And now that those tokens have been issued and largely sold off immediately, I'm going to enter this pool again. So I'm going to, let's say I got 50, that's 2 wax. So I'll take 2 off of my 9 here. 7, so I'll need 3.5 or so of the wax here, 3.5. And we'll swap that into Wombat, and then we should have a counterpart for the remaining wax we have in this wallet, and just add that to our existing wax Wombat liquidity position. So here we go. Oh wait, I'm probably reading this backward actually. I was totally reading that backwards. It looks like the price is climbing a bit in terms of wax. But either way, the distribution happened today, and I'd still like wax Wombat quite a bit. It's also here on the month. It's kind of been like doing pretty well, up 18%. And then the majority of the Wombat tokens liquidity exists over on QuickSwap on the Polygon blockchain, where it is mainly paired with USDC. So assuming USDC doesn't lose its peg, it's pretty much paired with the dollar as its base currency. So if, Matic token on Polygon is like their gas utility coin, or if Ethereum or Bitcoin start to take a dive, the value of Wombat should be relatively hedged from that dive, because its liquidity base pair is not one of those crypto assets, but rather USDC. And because of that, I'd still very much like to participate in this pool. And I do really like what the Wombat team's built and is continuing to build. So I'm going to do that for this week, adding more liquidity to the Wombat Wax pool, taking my rewards, and then compounding half of what we had in Honey Wax into Wombat Wax.
Hugo says, as I watch it, I notice as wax goes down, box usually goes up. As wax goes up, box usually goes down a little. And I would say that's a good observation. And that is because box, as Max is explaining or was explaining, we're kind of onto Wombat. But similarly to Wombat, it has liquidity on other blockchains. So it is not tethered to the price of wax as much as, say, like Ether or TLM is not a good example. But anything that's just native to the wax blockchain that does not have bridges or anything generally goes down with wax. It kind of just like it all tanks together. But because you can arbitrage into other blockchains, people just arbitrage the price over to EOS, and the price just keeps going up as wax drops. So like it's not dependent on the wax ecosystem, but then also stuff moves in tandem, because like if Bitcoin goes down, most likely wax and box are going to go down. So like it just depends on, like, there are some days where wax goes down and Bitcoin doesn't. Like just recently, wax went down way more than Bitcoin. There's a day where like when it dropped down to 6 cents, where like it took a super fat dump when everything else wasn't. It kind of like reacted to Bitcoin after, like everything went down, wax didn't really, and then a couple days later, wax went down with Bitcoin. But like because it went down and Bitcoin didn't that day, that's the day where box looked like it went up a bunch, because the days where wax is going down, the rest of the market is not, box goes up.
Yeah, it tends to kind of range a little bit too.
There's a lot of moving pieces in this, like how the value works, but like stuff that has cross-chain liquidity is less likely to dump when wax dumps, basically.
Yeah, and here you can see not only like there's 1 million EOS. So this is, I think EOS is over $1, right? Or how much is EOS?
Damn, $1 million in that pool.
Like there's deep liquidity in the box pool on EOS.
It's funny that's like not a lot. It's worth $1.11. So that's over $1 million.
$1.12. Yeah, this is over $1 million.
That like $1 million doesn't even seem like a lot of money, just based on like, Tether just lost $8 billion. Like, not Tether. I mean, Circle just lost $8 billion and recovered it. So just like $1 million isn't even a lot of money, like in context of what we've been talking about before. But also, like, if I had $1 million, it's a shit ton of money for me. But like for an institution, that's not a lot of money. For an individual, that is a lot of money. But for a wax marketplace, that's a lot of money. Like most liquidity on any wax marketplace, decentralized marketplace, does not have like millions of dollars of liquidity generally.
The other thing that you can do with your box tokens, that I don't know if people are super aware of this, but it's ridiculously cool, is if you're on the EOS side, I hoped they would bring this to wax. They haven't yet, but maybe they will. Protocol? You can just come to the lending protocol, and you could take your deposit. You could deposit box token and then use it to borrow, dollars. So you
essentially like what Tranquil is doing on Harmony, but because you earn
and also not small amounts of money. There's $1.2 million worth of box token here, $3 million worth of EOS.
I believe they pay you in box for staking though. Like part of that, like see that mining percentage under the APY. See how they're like deposit APY underneath. There's a yellow hammer with a percentage. I think you get paid in box. So it's just like Tranquil. Like instead of you earn the Tranquil token for depositing anything, you deposit into this. You get box back.
So you get this reward for borrowing the money. It says. So then you get it on both sides. Oh, I see.
It's
so
literally the same thing.
The cost. Yeah, it's totally the same thing. So if you supply liquidity, you earn 1.7% in USDT and 6.7% in box token.
Do you know how incredible that'd be? You could short fucking farmers tokens and stuff. Like,
yeah, I would love this on Wax, even if it was bigger like coins, because a lot of these are like USDC or USD.
USN, I think, is like an EOS stablecoin, right? Like it's only on EOS.
It is a US, like a native stablecoin on EOS. Here's this is Bitcoin, but there's decent amounts of liquidity for some of this stuff. And then you can also like they do have their whole vaults, and they're like you can do here like make some APY just staking your EOS or even USDT relatively.
Also crazy they haven't like DeFi box doesn't do shit for development though. Like the fact that they've done nothing on Wax in a full year and all this code's already built and they could just like port it over is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, just play all this shit on Wax. I'd be all about this. You do need deep liquidity to make shit like this work. So Wax just doesn't have the liquidity on to support this.
Well, Pocket says the EOS EVM is launching on the 14th of April. So that's pretty big news that EOS will basically be able to plug and play Ethereum code, which also, I don't even know if it's EOS anymore. It's Antelope, right? So Antelope will be launching the EVM. So I think they're trying to rebrand. It's basically like Polygon and Matic, where like Matic became Polygon, right? Not the other way around.
Yeah, Polygon used to be Polygon and now is Matic, I think.
Oh, so it isn't Polygon, it's Matic. Anyway, that's basically what EOS and Antelope though is. Though it's just like the same name. They're just rebranding for whatever reason.
It's the other way around.
They don't like
the token is still called Matic. Maybe it was Matic the first time around, and now it's Polygon, but the token is still called Matic.
It's unnecessarily confusing, but basically EOS is pivoting into Antelope now. But if you hear Antelope, don't be confused and be like, "What is Antelope? Is it some new thing?" It's like, nope, it's just a new name for EOS. Like,
yeah,
it's the same
Antelope is like the EOS IO update, so it'll be eventually possible to do all that stuff on Wax as well. Just to put a little ribbon on this one, though, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. That was it. I'm just going to put this into the Wombat pool and let's ride this for the next week. I am going to keep 50% of the honey pool and then roll the dice with that to see if new rewards do get added. If not, it's okay. We can pull these next week, but we'll see how we do, having basically 4.20. So like 420 is easy to remember for me. So we'll have that as a reference point to see how we did by keeping this exposed to the pool during that uncertain time for liquidity rewards. And then before we wrap, let's just do quick math and see how we've done here with our 100 wax so far. So we have 41 plus 41 plus 4.2 plus 4.2 plus 4 plus 4. So we've got 98 wax worth of liquidity on Taco Swap, and an additional, if we go here to my 124 wax on DeFi box. So we'll do plus 124. And that leaves us with a total of 222 wax and that we have turned our 100 wax into over about 8 months. That's not terrible. Like, I mean, that's actually really good. That's like 120% profit if you're looking at profit in terms of wax exclusively. So it is clearly possible to kind of like just make wax without NFT trading or stuff and just playing around with these markets. But it is also not a passive thing. We are adjusting our exposure and mitigating like risks and moving our position around once a week, every Tuesday. So if you want to pay attention to how we do that, just check it out on Tuesdays.
Also, if you have any questions, like a lot of this stuff is really complicated. I don't even understand how half this shit works. Max has taught me a ton, but like if you don't know how liquidity pools work or any sort of more complex stuff on Wax or just cryptocurrency in general, like it's supposed to be an educational show. We're not trying to tell you how to invest your money. That's not the point. It's to teach you the strategies that we use so you can use them for yourself if you choose to use them. Like, we're not saying anybody should participate in DeFi. And as I just said, I'm getting turned off from DeFi. So like, you know, I might not even be using some of the strategies we're showing off, but we still just like to let people know what the possibilities are, because there's a lot of them. What's the best way / best LP right now to make Wax passive? I feel like that would be financial advice.
I would, yeah. Personally, I really like the distribution pool, on Ethereum, but that's potentially not.
I like the only thing is I have a hard time recommending it because they're going to move that back over to Wax. So like, I don't want you to go sign a bunch of expensive gas transactions and have to unwrap everything in 2 months when they redo. Like, they're supposed to retool the Wax tokenomics. So Max and I are talking about the Wax Ethereum or Wax E / Ethereum pool on Uniswap. You earn Wax governance and
Yes.
you earn Wax, like the tokenomics fee for every transaction on every marketplace on Wax. 2%, 40% of that gets sent to Wax G and Wax E rewards. So we like that as a position. But as I just said, in the roadmap for this year, they're retooling the Wax tokenomic structure. So they could very much like, and I've been talking to Lucas Republic, who's the chief technical operator of Wax, and he's saying they're trying to move it back over to Wax from Ethereum. So you have to sign like pretty expensive transactions to get everything into that pool. And if you're gonna have to take it all out in 2 or 3 months, like I don't know if I can recommend people jumping in right now, but I do think that's my favorite DeFi position that is Wax related.
Yeah.
You no longer earn Ethereum from it, you earn Wax P on Ethereum. So now you earn like ERC20 Wax P. But again, I think they're gonna move it back over to Wax P. And like I don't know what's gonna happen to that pool and stuff. So I would maybe err on side
the general way to think about that pool is it's a way for you to cut yourself in on every NFT sale on the Wax blockchain. So every time anyone sells an NFT from any collection,
Farmers World and Mining World, Mining Network, whatever, when all these rug pulls come out that you're like, I know this is going to collapse. I know people are going to make money on it, but I don't want to have to guess when I should sell, because that's how you make money on all these Ponzi's, is you buy in and just sell before it collapses, which is a guessing game. There's no real logic to it. Like, if you don't want to do that, you can just say, I want a percentage of every sale on Atomic Hub. So when Farmers World makes $40 million in their aftermarket, you get a cut of that through that pool, rather than having to buy their NFTs and time it correctly. So like when like Blockchain Brawlers blew up, when Farmers World blew up, like those months can have up to like a 50% APY. Like they have a very, very good return. And then there's months where nothing's blowing up and then you get like a 5% return. So it's very varied. It's very hard to calculate. When people are like, how much do I make? It's like, it's different every month, always and forever. So it'll never be the same month to month. Like that's just the nature of it. So you can like kind of estimate what you're going to make. Like you can average it throughout a year, but it's going to change. So like, it's definitely like, but I don't know. It's definitely way better than just staking your Wax, as far as like, I can say I have never gotten less than the 4.5% for staking your Wax the entire time I've been in the pool. So
much more every
staking Wax, it is a better deal. But then the other thing which you have to be aware of is you have to expose 50% of your value to Ethereum. So when you stake your Wax, 100% of your Wax is exposed to the value of Wax. When you have Wax E and Ethereum, half of your value is in Ethereum, half of it is in Wax. So, you know, if Wax goes 10x and Ethereum does not, you only capitalize on half of that, because half of your value is stuck in Ethereum. So if you're really bullish on Wax and you're not bullish on Ethereum, then that is not the best position for you. But
yeah, then just straight staking your Wax isn't terrible. Like you're only exposed to Wax. There's no counterpart risk of losing that Wax exposure, and you're earning an interest, and you get free transactions from the resources that you get for that. I also agree with Montsuerte. DeFi can be extremely passive, but in order to build a position that is like something like, I have multiple positions that I don't touch for years, and they just don't make sense with like 100 Wax worth of capital. Like you honestly like shouldn't fuck with that with like less than like 2 or 3 Ethereum, and that makes it kind of hard to recommend to people, which sucks. Like I could totally like show you guys that Sliz. That's a fucking insane DeFi project.
That's such a stupid fucking project, but also looks lucrative. I want to read this. Let's pivot real quick.
Yeah,
Wax
let's see. Yeah.
Today it says unleash your inner creator. I think this is some sort of incentive for creators, but I also have not read this article, so I'm just gonna do it.
I've not seen this.
It says Wax Hub, unleash your inner creator. Actually, I know what this is. This is the Wax Ambassador program, and I'm a part of it. God, I'm dumb. This is what they renamed the Ambassador program. It's called the Wax Hub now. But basically, like, this is where you could submit. Like, this is where you would submit as a creator for the Wax Ambassadors to promote your stuff. Which also, there was no official forum for that. So this is nice that they did that. Because it definitely seemed like an insiders club. Like, you had to, like, know someone on the Wax team and DM them to get promoted by the Wax Ambassadors. And if you've ever tried DMing someone on the Wax team, they don't answer DMs. So it was kind of like they were only really working with people that already knew them. So it is nice that they opened up a public forum. Also, I'm speculating on all this. I haven't read it. Let's read it. Are you passionate about blockchain and NFTs? Do you want to be a part of a thriving community of like-minded individuals working towards a common goal? Then look no further, because the Wax Hub is the place for you. Be a part of something bigger. The Wax Hub is a program where Wax supporters come together to contribute to the growth and development of Wax NFT ecosystem. Whether you're interested in community management, content creation, social media, events, tech support, or anything else, the ecosystem needs you. By joining the Wax Hub, you'll become a key player in the growth of the Wax blockchain and have the opportunity to be part of something big. So I guess they're opening up the Wax Hub beyond just influencers, because before it was like, well, like I signed up as an influencer, as an ambassador, but there were other things. You could be like a journalist. You could have been like, I don't know. There's multiple options now. So I guess this Wax Hub will be public, and you won't necessarily have to be a creator with the project to be involved, or you don't have to be like a streamer. Like there's other stuff. That's what this says. Open to everyone.
That's great.
Wait, did I just say this? Whether you're a Wax enthusiast, leader, influencer, or the Wax Hub is open to everyone. If you're passionate about data privacy and the responsible use of data, you'll feel right at home. If you're an active community member who wants to help the global ecosystem, you'll find a supportive community here. If you're a content creator who loves to think outside the box, you'll have the opportunity to showcase your skills. And if you're a student interested in blockchain or a newbie who wants to learn more, you'll have the opportunity to gain hands-on experience and build marketable skills. That's the other thing, is it's a little bit like LinkedIn. You can see everybody else is signed up. So you can go and look like who is a full stack dev on Wax as a part of this program. So you could like find journalists, find people who write articles. So this is kind of like linking together people that want to build together on Wax, which I do think is a good thing. My part I don't like about the system, because I can tell you I'm already in it as a Wax ambassador, is it's kind of clicking, and it's like it's an engagement farming. Like you get points, and then based on the points you get paid in Wax. So they'll just be like, hey, retweet this and you get points. And then those points can be claimed to get ERC20 Wax. So they're basically paying people to retweet stuff for them. And this kind of just comes up into like retweet spam more than people actually like interacting with each other. So like in theory, this is really cool. In practice, all it's been used for currently is to just ask them to retweet their tweets over and over and over. And everybody's just retweeting the same spam, which is like not my favorite way to engage with communities. I don't really like Twitter. I think like a lot of the engagement on NFT Twitter, it's just bots and stuff, especially when you do giveaways and anything that can be like anything with financial gain on Twitter is just game over. A bajillion bots. It's no fun. But personally, that's what I think. But I hope they turn this into something cool, because like in theory, what they just wrote sounds awesome. But in practice, what I've been doing is nothing like what they've been writing. But also it's been closed to just influencers. So I like the fact that they're trying to open this up to other people, like community members, creators. Like if there's more people in there, I might be able to network with people that I couldn't have otherwise. But like, I don't necessarily need to know every other Twitch influencer and like have a platform to talk to every Twitch influencer. But like, I don't know if we could find developers and stuff that could build us for like Novo Pangea creator credit, because there's a full stack dev just chilling in there looking for work. That would be useful to me. So I do think this could be very useful as a hub to bring together creators and everybody on Wax that wants to build for Wax. And also later Irish.
Yeah, see you. Good to see you, man. It's been.
Do you mean to spell "see" that incorrectly? I can't tell if that's a joke or you're just really bad at spelling. C is spelled
no, I'm really bad at spelling.
Which one? C is spelled with an S, not the letter C. It's S-E-E, not C-E-E. C like that is like CeeLo Green. That's the way CeeLo Green spells his name.
I feel like I knew that, but yeah, I don't know.
I'll highlight it so everybody can see Max's mistake.
The C is pretty close to the S on my keyboard.
It also sounds similar, so phonetically you didn't not make sense. It's just
yeah.
That's part of the fun of our show, is me making fun of your spelling. I mean, you guys can make fun of me for not sleeping and playing R-Planet all day, and we'll get along.
I think Irish is still crushing that game too, huh?
Irish also had zombie hours. Irish will hit me up and be like, hey man, I gotta sleep. Like, I'll talk to you later. And then like 2.5 hours, he sends me another message. I'm like, did you just not sleep, or is 2.5 hours how long you sleep? Like, I can't tell. But I do the same thing. Last night I was like, hey guys, I'm going to bed, so I won't be able to communicate at like 6 a.m. And then 8 a.m. passed, and I was like, I did not go to bed yet. So like everything that I said I could do in 8 hours, you're gonna have to push another 2 hours. Like, I keep telling people like I'm ready to plan an R-Planet attack at 5 p.m. It's 5:30 now because like I slept in later than I was supposed to. So like I just keep fucking up all my scheduling for my sleep schedule and staying up too late.
R-Planet is killing me.
But this is the link if anybody wants to join. It's ambassador.wax.io. You do not need to be you don't need to be an ambassador to join, even though it's ambassador.wax.io. So if you're interested in joining as a community member or just seeing what it's about, maybe join. I don't have like great things to say about it, as you've heard, but I do think there's potential here. So that's where I'll end this. Is there's potential for this program to be awesome. In its current iteration, it has not been working that great for me, but it's also new. Like this website's been up for like a month, so there's plenty of time to get back. Let's do a Crittercraft getaway. We've been I said I'd do an NFT giveaway like an hour ago, so
that's true.
We'll do that, and then we'll probably end this because we've been going for a while.
Yeah, unless you guys want to geek out about Sliz.
We also haven't even talked about oh, I'm in the wrong wallet. That's why.
We gotta check out the Funko drop too.
Since you like all my freaking that's what I was gonna say. All of my RLM salary boosts that are now worthless because somebody like, hacked into the system and minted a bajillion of them.
Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't know about that.
That was the Realm exploit, which happened right after you sold all your shit. I was like, God, I was saying this odd stream. I was like, I have great intuition. I don't follow my intuition. Like I told you, we should think about I was like, now's a good time to sell at a Realm. Perfect time. Like the prices collapsed right after that. I also told you before we went stream on Friday, I think I might sell out of USDC because of the news today because it could lose peg. But then I didn't, and I went and streamed. But like, I always have these like thoughts where I'm like, it would be a good idea to do this right now. And 100% of the time, I don't follow my own advice. I bag hodl, and everybody that takes my advice does great. And then I'm just like,
I followed your advice.
I take my own advice. Like, that's happened.
I followed your advice on that shit, and I was like, I'm out of here.
Like, I tell you all the time about like stuff, and then like I don't follow through. Same with my dad. Like I told my dad to sell his cryptocurrency like when Bitcoin was like 55K or something. I didn't sell my own until like 10K lower. So I was like, fuck, like why didn't I sell my Bitcoin when I told my dad to? Like I don't understand why I do what I do, but like
that's true.
I don't know. I think I have a bit of like a hoarder issue. Like I have a hard time selling stuff. Like it's hard for me to get rid of anything. Like I feel sentimental. The FOMO also is just like the fear of missing out on gains is super hard for me to like mentally get rid of. So it's hard for me to cut my lot or like cut my wins. Like it's way easier for me to panic sell than it is for me to sell when I'm winning. So I'm also getting better not panic selling though. Like I was so close to selling on Friday for the USDC thing, and I was just like, everything from logic tells me it should not be worth less than 92 cents. Like, I can do the math.
Of how much talking about that. It's like it shouldn't be, but people are panicking. Like people
are selling for 88 cents. So I was like, I can't be selling. Like, that's an emotional decision though. That was not based on logic. Nothing about logic said it should have been worth 88 cents. Besides, it could be worth less than 88 cents, which was fear. It wasn't like based on logic though. So like, that's what I was telling Irish. I think we're having, or maybe at least Comic Standing, we're having chat. And I was like, my emotions tell me I should panic sell right now, but like, you shouldn't use your emotions when investing. Like you should have strategies. And like,
definitely not. I was walking one of my Maxi members through like how to move their money into their like Gemini account, and then once it was there, it was like, okay, should I sell it? And it was like at like 92 cents, and I was like, look, just to cure your FOMO, sell 10% right now and get that shit, and then the rest of it set limit orders. Like this isn't the end of the fucking world. Like take a breath, go to sleep. Like we'll be fine. And then it was fine. I think they averaged like 98 cents or something per unit, and they would have gotten like 92 or something if they had just panic sold it all. And it was a significant amount of money. So like that like percentage makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Where's God damn it?
It's definitely hard though to like keep your fucking head when it feels like the world is burning. And also, again, you're looking at that chart and there is no like rebounds. It's just tanking. It doesn't look like it's
Phoenix hasn't already figured out what soundbite I'm trying to do before I do it. I feel like Princess Phoenix is gonna know this one.
5% difference is astronomical. 5% means everything.
You have to play that anytime anybody talks about small percentages, like with investing. 5% difference is astronomical. This is also where I get a lot of my sound bites. If people are wondering, there's a website just called H3 Soundbites.
5% is $5,000 when you're moving 100,000. So someone's moving like $800,000. That's a shitload of money. So and then talking to somebody at like 3 a.m. their time where they were at, and they're like, what the fuck do I do? It's just like you take a deep breath, like just relax. Like,
okay, boomer.
It's definitely wild because it is like the one thing that they said that I really like, it like has been ringing in my head, that they're like, I love this the prospect of crypto and everything, but one thing that I just love about stocks is that the market closes at 5 p.m. Like
Yeah.
I could kick up my legs and like I'm not gonna get hacked between then and the next market open. Like
in reality, you guys got scammed.
That one's also good for the space. That guy also, the reason that's funny, that's in the context of he sold them the scam. Like he introduced his audience on social media to a scam. And he's like, sorry, I have to inform you guys. I just like sold you a scam. In reality, you guys got scammed, but like he was the one that like, you know, got paid to scam people. So it's like, I don't know. We're not going to get into H3 drama. Anyway, let's give away. I wanted to show off. We got Neon Max, the Reborn from Necrotic Warfare.
Oh, I got mint one of this thanks to KY.
But we have mint 99 and 100 to give away. That is not what we'll give away today. We'll give these away on our gaming day on probably a Friday. But I just wanted to show these off because besides,
baby. I think the stick for some zombie token
on our team that is now glorified as an NFT in another collection. So if you play Tales of the Crypto or the Necrotic Warfare game, and you want to own Max in the game, this is him. It's based on a reference photo I sent them. I noticed they took off your glasses. I was like, why can zombies not wear glasses? They might need to see better.
Maybe being cured from being a zombie fixes your vision. Huh?
We did not. That's a good call, though, for like lore. We have not participated in Funko Drop. I'm going to do a giveaway, and then we will look at the Funko Drop, though. That is the order of operations. I actually like the Dungeons and Dragons set. I just don't think I want the physical redeemables, so I will probably scoop them all on the redemption day. But I actually really like this set. Like I like what all the NFTs look like and stuff. So
I feel like the owlbear is probably the chase, right? The chase redeemable. It looks like it's like a double wide box.
The set bonus looks pretty good too.
The set bonus is pretty cool. It's like a wizard.
Yeah, let's look at that after. Let's do this giveaway first. I said I'd do forever. Oh my gosh, I'm hiccuping. Crittercraft pack. This is from our collection. We are artists. We make NFTs. We are a collectible brand. We are not a game, so we're not doing the whole ROI Ponzi stuff. If you like artwork and you like collecting cards and stuff, we do a digital version of that. We also just branched out into real collectibles. So we've been doing sticker drops. We sell some for fiat, but then also the NFTs you can get out of this pack can blend into blend tokens, and those can be used to acquire stickers. So you can use our NFTs, burn them into blend tokens, and then use the blend tokens to get stickers from us. So you could, if you pulled a rare enough card, potentially get a physical sticker from winning this giveaway. And there's not enough for everybody. There's only like 15 or 20 available each drop because we also have to make enough money to keep buying stickers to keep doing this. But I do think it's a pretty cool utility within our collection that like almost everything you can get in packs can eventually be blended down to stuff that could get redeemables. Thank you for the cheer, Pixtologia. Pixtology is another one of our projects we really enjoy on Wax. They're like a pixel game, kind of like a 2D pixel platformer. And they're also very much focused on building community and building something fun and not trying to just create an ROI Ponzi faucet. So I appreciate anybody who's building on Wax that like isn't the easy way to make money on Wax is to do a play to earn. Play to earn, people invest in because they expect to make money back. So the second you just say you cannot earn in my project, you're alienating like 95% of the customers on Wax, which I think is a bold thing to do as a creator. So you're basically saying, I will not take extra money to like just do something that makes more sense. So like shout out to Pixtologia. I appreciate anybody who's like building a real project and not just cash grabbing and then abandoning the space in 6 months, which is like, you know what a lot of those ROI Ponzi token faucet games, that's what they turn into. So anybody not doing that, you have my respect and my like love to promote their projects over the other type of project. Anyway, enough ranting. Let's give away this Crittercraft pack. This is a one card NFT pack. It can open for 4 different rarities, 3 of which can blend into our blend token. So that's just a little bit deets on how our system works.
Yeah.
We're also planning on getting into enamel pins, and eventually we'd like to do actual LED neon signs, like desk size, almost like a lava lamp, where you can have like buy a pack, and then if you pull the rarest version of that out of the pack, like Funko, you get a grail and we'll send you a neon sign. We are not really that close to being able to do that, if we're being honest. We have other stuff coming up first. We're planning on going stickers, pins, and then signs. So we're climbing our way up. We're starting at the bottom. Hopefully we'll make it to the top. We're going to start going to conventions. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll start going to like Comic-Con and Anime Con and stuff like that. So we can try to onboard physical collectors to the digital space. And I think what we're going to do there, I haven't even talked to you about this, Max, but I'm 100% down if you are, is just buy shit on our aftermarket. send it to a wallet and be like, say like we start selling live dudes pins. If you pull a live dudes pin, we'll send you like a common through Glow of live dudes. Like we can just source those. And we can do it like what Priscilla does.
No, that's true.
When you buy it. But since we can't mint any more of those because we already dropped them and we're not going to mint more of the same NFTs, we don't do that. We care about scarcity. We can just go buy them and then give them to people that way. But I think that's not a bad idea for like re-releasing artwork physically and then onboarding people digitally. Just give them free claim links to like aftermarket purchased versions of those drops. Anyway, off topic that we can talk about.
I like that.
Giveaway. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the giveaway. And we'll get our... Yeah, I do think like there's something about like the people in the NFT space want the NFT to come with the digital, but I think the people in the physical space want the opposite. So if we want to onboard people to our digital space, we need to offer them digital versions of the physical stuff they're going for. So I do think that's a really smart thing Priscilla does. And like the way we're doing our stuff by like minting artwork we've already dropped as NFTs doesn't really work for that. But I do think we can, like, I don't know, it's not that expensive on our aftermarket to buy like 75 commons of a drop if everybody that gets a sticker gets it. I guess that's, I don't know, that might start adding up. We've burned a lot of those commons. I don't know how many are left, but like there should still be like 600 or so left commons. But
yeah, I'm probably still a decent stack.
Same. I also have a bunch in my wallets. I was thinking like between me and Mark, we got a ton of our early packs. We can just pull stuff together and then give them to people.
Yeah, I got really some packs I could still rip too.
Let's see. It's time. I'm really excited about the physical stuff. We got our second batch of stickers is in production right now, so it depends on how long it takes them to ship us, but maybe by next Friday, not this Friday, we could have a second sticker drop. It's also cool seeing like on Discord, everybody like posts when they get their stickers, and we've seen some people like slapped on a water bottle and like computers and stuff. Like, love seeing you guys sticking our logo on stuff. And we made that we never intended to exist in the real world. Like, we never intended on creating a physical collectible brand. Like, we were intending on only making digital collectibles, making NFTs. But yeah, it's fun like having an actual physical product. It definitely feels like more legitimate. Also, it's just an actualized version of like when Max is the sign behind him, that neon sign.
Yeah.
When we got that, it's like, holy shit, like we were just making these JPEGs and MPVs and, you know, we're just making digital files. We weren't expecting these to ever be turned into real versions of them. So like the fact that we started there now, like we're seeing them starting to exist in the world is like really exciting for me, at least from like the art side of it. Where it's like, I don't know, we make this stuff. Didn't expect it to be real. Now that it's real, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fucking cool. Just seeing people's stickers and where they stuck them is pretty fun too.
I hope we get big to the point where like I'm just like going to like a bathroom somewhere in LA and there's like a neon space sticker just like on the back of the bathroom stall. We fucking made it.
Yeah, dude, that's
a story from when I was in college. Is like I had a shirt that said Mark Hart on it, and it had like his face. I don't know if you remember that shirt. Like I silk screened his face shirts, and I gave them to people. So a bunch of people at Western had shirts that said Mark Hart, and then somebody wrote in a bathroom, "Who the fuck is Mark Hart?" And I was like, I made it. Like somehow somebody saw my shirt enough that they're like, "What the fuck is happening here?" And like, you shouldn't know who Mark Hart is. That was the like why I love this shirt is because I just put my friend's face and a star on my shirt, and I just wear it around like to school all the time. And people are like, "Is that a celebrity?" I'm like, "No, it's Mark. He's a German major. He's a psychology major, and like
he goes to school." Yeah, that's great. That's a pretty good. Like that's kind of like how the Obey guy got famous. Like just stick it everywhere, and eventually people.
That's think actually exactly why I did it. Like that was like I was actually very into the Andre Obey and Shepard Fairey, and that's like I was very into street art when I was getting into screen printing, and that was actually my thing was to create something that looked bigger than it was with no meaning that people. So like the fact that somebody like it's very rarely do I have something where I'm like in my mind this is how an art project is going to go. This is how the audience will react to it. And it actually works out that way. 99% of the time, I'm like, people are going to fucking love this. And then nobody cares about it or whatever. So like having an idea, doing it, and then having people react the way you thought they were going to react is pretty fulfilling as an artist. So like, to me, that was kind of like a weird art project troll. And it actually worked 100%. So I was pretty like excited about it.
I did a fun little street art thing when I lived in Florida. I took like chia seeds and like ground them into like a little like paste, and then like drew a smiley face on the like outside of the freeway overpass. And then like weeks later, there was like a growing like smiley face out of like, you know, chia like pets. So it wasn't like crazy graffiti. You could just like scrape it off, but it was like alive. It was really cool. But you know. Ooh,
all right, here we go. Oh, that was brutal.
The gold tail is cool. It's no red tail though.
I like the gold tail.
I think the gold is like the ultimate tail.
I've got a purple. Purple's my favorite color, but also the background is purple, so I feel like it doesn't pop as much.
Yeah, the red is just nice because it looks like blood when you get splattered. Oh damn, the gold trail. You did the like going in circles just in time. Right. Still cooking. There's a light blue tail too, and a green. Oh no, shouldn't have said anything about the green. Oh, and the gold is dead now too. Fuck. All the pressure is all on the blue tail now. Oh, blue tail. Okay. Well,
All the trails.
Yeah,
Oh!
Oh, damn.
It's dark. Who's gonna take it?
I vote pop and stop.
Oh,
Oh shit.
it's
I
so
cursed him.
close.
Oh no. Cursed him.
Shout out to Dark. Dark is
GG.
friend from
Damn,
our,
dude. You're just getting missed by everything at the end there too.
from our Planet Alliance. Shout out to NEG and all my friends in NEG.
Oh yeah.
Anybody watching is in Headhunters, we're coming for y'all. I'm gonna Hulk Hogan come for you. We're coming for you, brother. Brother. He just does it like that, right? Like it's super gravelly. I'm gonna put the smash on you. Stuff like that. Like,
Yep, pretty much.
I don't actually watch wrestling.
Hey, brother. You watch your head, Headhunters. We're coming for you, brother. Something like that.
Also, Dark, you need to fill out this form if you've never been to one of our streams before. And that just asks for your Wax wallet and your Twitch ID. So that way, when I send the prizes at some point, either later today or later this week, I don't need to ask you for your Wax wallet because it will be on our Google form. So thank you. And that goes for everybody. You only need to fill it out once. If you've ever filled out any forms on any of our streams, your name is there forever. So we have people from 2 years ago, back when we first started streaming. So
years and years.
And then NEG run wild on you. All right. All right, now let's look at Funko. It is Funko Day. Has so much news and crypto lately. We got through 2 hours of news before we even got to the wax drop. Almost 3 hours of news. I assume it's sold out. I mean, we're so late on this. Stuff never doesn't sell out by now. Digital.
No way it's not sold out. I feel like if it didn't sell out, they would have like burned
the sale by now.
Yeah.
Sold out. But we can quickly look at some of the redeemables.
The redeemables look cool for this one.
There's the Asterak. I believe that's how you say that. That's the Grail.
Sounds kind of cool. I feel like the other ones are cooler.
Demogorgon. I like this guy.
That one's cool.
Yeah. Your boy watches
Strange. These redeemables are just cool from outside of the NFT space too. They just look fucking cool. Very cool characters.
I like this guy a lot too. The Displacer Beast, where he has like a tongue as his tail. That thing's creepy as hell. And this guy does look rare because he has a wide box. Like it's not in the Funko box. So this guy's like a double wide or something.
I think he is like an oversized Funko.
And then this is the one that never works on my browser for whatever reason. Which I don't know why that doesn't work. It literally never works in the browser. Let's see what the NFTs look like. Oh, there's two of them. You know, the Demogorgon's like playing in a water bath. He's like, splish, splash, I'm taking a bath.
The water looks pretty good for Funkos.
I think the Azarak looks the coolest. This is a really cool animation. On the NFT side, he's not the collectible I want the most, but I like this. Like the way those lighting effects work, and when it changes and they're obscured by all this stuff, looks really nice. Like it looks kind of looks neon spacey. Like it looks very like neon gritty. I dig it. All right, so let's look what they're selling for. What is going on? Is this new or that you have recently viewed collections on top? I don't know if I like that.
Ooh, I play RotoQuest. Yeah, didn't they launch their PvP? I think we wanted to talk with them on stream, but we got kind of like
Kristalla, I believe her name is. Kristalla is like the community leader. What do you call him? Community manager. I don't even know if that was the right word. She streams for them. She does like the Twitter content, but yeah, she said she wanted to come on and teach us about the PvP. And Max and I both have cards and stuff, so we will actually probably have Kristalla on our show and learn about it that way. I'm pretty dumb. I usually learn about games by having them on our stream and having them spoon feed me how to play it. I'm like, so what do I do? And I'm clicking all the wrong buttons, and they just like walk me through step by step how to do it. But we have also learned that is useful for our audience, because if I can't figure it out, our audience usually can't either. So like me being dumb helps the other dumb people. Other people that are dumb just like me can figure out how to play the game. So
a good pitch. I have a few like high level like perfect evolutions, perfect forms. I've been like grinding behind the scenes for a while.
$13, $14 for the standard pack, so that's up like 40% from drop, right?
Oh wow, yeah.
And 4,500 of 15,000 have been burned though, so only a third have been burned. There's still a lot of these packs in circulation, which means a lot of flippers bought them. And generally the way these packs work is if the number of burns is like super low, then people undercut each other because more people are trying to sell than burn. So when you have really low burn percentages, it's a bad time to buy, because then flippers are undercutting each other. And then as more get burned, then the price generally goes back up because the people actually want to buy them from the flippers. So Pop and Stock would know better than me. I don't know if 33% on drop day is good for Funko. That's pretty decent, though. It's not that horrible. That's way better than the first drop day for was it Ultraman? Like had disgusting like burn numbers. Like everybody bought to flip that. It was nobody was buying it actually. Let's see what the premium packs are. Premium packs are 41. So these are up $6 because I think they're 35, right? Or are they up $11 because they're 30? I haven't participated in a drop in a while. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I've been mostly participating in Funko as a digital collector, not a physical collector. And if you only want the NFTs, there's no reason to buy them until the redeemables go out. You save a ton of money if you buy them after the redemption coin drop. So for this one, I will most likely also wait to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's my move. I like the physical. I like the digitals.
I am curious though if the Owl Beast is more expensive than the other legendaries, because that's a hypothesis.
I feel like it should be, right? That one looks like a.
Holy shit, though. These are the cheapest redeemable right now is $67. Like other sets usually go for like $30.
Damn.
All right, here we go. This is why we have Pop and Stock in the chat. Also, if you're not following Pop and Stock, please follow his Twitch if you're interested in Funko content. Every Thursday he does Funko streams, and I've learned more about Funko through his streams than I do than I'm teaching you guys by like 1,000,000%. Like anything I know about Funko, I'm learning from people like Pop and Stock or Dr. Crispy or like people in the Nerds Unite community. CS Soli is another great resource. I believe he used to work for Funko, so he has a lot of insight like how they work internally. But there's some really good Funko streamers out there. We cover Funko because it's the most relevant collectible brand on Wax, but we would be lying if we said we were large Funko collectors outside of Wax, because I never owned a Funko until after Wax.
I got a couple, but I would like be embarrassed to mention it in a room full of actual collectors. You know,
D&D is position 20 out of 24. So maybe don't buy packs now is my point for that. Because like when you know the math on those numbers, you will know that the flippers will undercut each other. And the pack prices shouldn't keep going up if people aren't burning them. They'll go back down. So like that's my kind of like speculative advice for like when you're watching stuff on drop day. Those burn rates are very important because the market responds to the burn rates, and like people will start panicking and undercutting each other if they think like there's more people are selling and buying, and that's when you're able to buy packs lower than the drop price. which doesn't happen super often in Funko, but yeah, it's still something to just consider.
Yeah. Also, the price of the redeemables can come down as more packs get ripped.
I would also say that because the packs haven't been open, so the supply is really low and the demand is high. Generally, these sell for about $30, like, and then the Grail sells for like 300 or whatever. But like, if all of the redeemables are selling for 60, that seems overpriced based on the previous drops. 250 seems about right for the Grail. That's what Grail they sell for. I also do think there's less packs, so there's less cards in this than some of the other sets. I don't know, 15,000 packs, that's not super low. I think they've done 10,000 pack drops. But then they've also done like 30,000 pack drops for DC and stuff. So this is like, it's not on the higher end of mints, but it's also not like super scarce.
So it looks like the analytics say a bunch of people are funneling into like a few wallets. So someone's running a botnet to bot the drop, and that generally leads to fewer packs being opened quite as quickly. It's also like Lewis said,
I don't know how you stop that either. Like that's definitely a big issue with doing drops on wax. Is like it's no longer an issue for us because people don't think they can flip our stuff. If they think they can sell your stuff for more than $1.01, like for what they paid for it, if they pay $1 and they're making like $1.01, people try to exploit it. Like on wax because of the gas fees and structures and stuff. Maybe not $1.01, okay? Because the $1.01 is definitely like you're going to pay that in market fees and stuff, but essentially the margins can be much lower to make money on wax than say Ethereum, where you're paying several dollars on every transaction. So you are able to undercut people at a much more like precise and smaller amounts. Let's see, Max and Lewis, do you guys want some of my collar drop for Sully from today? You can blend for some better stuff. Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like us to give some away, if you send it to give.neon, we will totally. Is the drop still open? Also, so Dr. Crispy, we can show it off. Be happy to promote it. Dr. Crispy is an artist, and he helps. He's part of the NFT Nerds Unite community, right? I don't know if you're like the head of it. I considered you like the leader of it, but I also that's just because I met you first. I don't know if there is a leader of the. So Solely the head of? Okay, so Solely is the head of Nerds Unite. But he's part of that fam, which is also like Valor and Vellum and Priscilla, and even like Jungle Bry, I think, who raided into us earlier. A lot of those people are from the Nerds Unite fam, and they're generally great people. And like, if you're gonna support someone on wax, those are the type of people I'd recommend supporting. It's not like a financial investment. Like, I wouldn't recommend buying any of that stuff like expecting it to like 10x in value or anything. But like, if you like collecting stuff, if you like artwork, you're supporting people who make the art directly. This is not like Crispy is going and hiring artists and commissioning them. Like some of the largest art collectible brands on wax are tech nerds hiring artists and then making all the money. Like this is an independent artist making their own artwork. So like, if you'd like to support artists, the project is Glummy Bears. Which let's check out.
I think I have a pack from the very first pack drop from that still unopened. I bought that off the drop and then immediately listed it for 10,000 wax just to flex on the secondary market. And I bought a few more that I actually opened, but that one I think is still listed.
Is it the
flex
That's
listing?
I was like free. I like free. Oh, this is sold out. I think it just sold out. Shit. This was not this did not sell out until I clicked on the page, but now you'll have to go on the aftermarket, but maybe consider holding onto the name in your brain, in your brain palace, your mind fortress. Keep Glummy Bears at the back of that, so next time they do a drop, maybe you'll be around.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's 16 of these Glummy Bear packs left, and I have 4 of those 16 unopened packs. Come at me, bro. I'm gonna have them all one day.
Let's see. We can look at the Glummy Bears collection on the aftermarket and show what they look like. I like Dr. Crispy's artwork too. He's also one of the people we met like early on in the space that have not abandoned the space.
Yeah, he's an OG.
We talked to a lot more people that made a lot more money than he's ever made in this space that have abandoned the space entirely. Like, like Wax Arena, like tons of people that raised like $500,000+ that just totally bailed on the space. And then like, Dr. Crispy
Yeah.
has been trucking along. He still releases artwork. He's still doing stuff for his community. And again, it's not like the most hype project, but like he's around. All right, let's see. What am I looking for? Ooh, there's a 1 of 1 Sully Bear on sale for, or not 1 of 1, 1 of 50. I like this though. This is a cool one.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, that is cool.
I feel like I wish I could pull off wearing a cowboy hat. I like cowboy hats. I feel like they're freaking cool, but I also feel like I have no business wearing a cowboy hat because I'm like not a cowboy.
Yeah, look at the packs schema. I wonder if you can see my pack. I listed that shit so long ago.
How was it listed for?
You could probably go like oldest, maybe.
I did price highest. What'd you list it for?
Okay, that's probably it there, the second highest price one. If
This
you
one?
mouse, yeah, that one, the blue one.
Collected. There it is. Win
Is that
pack
me?
standard pack. There's only
Damn, somebody listed something more expensive.
16 left.
I think I have 4 of those packs still unopened, and there's only like 16 total unopened packs left.
There's 6 left, or 16 left, and you have 4 of 16, so you have a quarter of the total supply.
Yeah, those are. I haven't opened them because I was ripping them to try to get like the blend. I got the blend, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave these unopened for now, and then they're still unopened. Diamond hands, baby.
I haven't looked at like what do the animations look like on some of these. Let's look what the epic looks like.
There's a Neon Space collab in the Glummy Bears collection.
Yeah, that was really early on where you could blend into like a neon sign version. That was fun. It looks really good too. Crispy does a great job with his artwork. This guy looks like a vampire, Strahd. I don't know anything about like the lore of Dungeons and Dragons outside of Stranger Things. I like this guy though, Mind Flayer, where he has like the little brains hopping around. That's cool. The animations are looking nice on these newer Funkos. Like, I talked about this on like Pop and Stock stream and like some other streamers, but like the actual artwork is getting better and better for the digitals. The physicals aren't really changing, but the fact that they're increasing the quality of their digital artwork really makes me happy. So it's like, I don't know. A lot of people seem to sort of just like phone in like the digital side just to sell physical stuff, and it's basically like a lottery to get their physical stuff, and basically they make people buy like, I don't know. Sort of seems like a lot of times it's like people just want the physicals and they're selling all this other crap as just a barrier to get the physicals. And then like some brands don't really even put any work into the extra crap they're selling. So I feel like you're literally just buying like garbage NFTs to try to get a redeemable. So the fact that they're making like actual cool looking NFTs that I want to keep in my wallet is very nice. Like this looks sick. The fire animation on that looks like some Sauron shit. That looks amazing.
Yeah, these look dope. I feel like the NFTs have gotten cooler every drop they do too, which is like, the bars
sure.
climbing.
Look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like they were just standing there looking awkward. Like none of them had like action movements and stuff.
They're like idling. They're like 80s video game idling. Oh, Cerberus. Or no. Tiamat.
It's Tiamat.
Mata?
It's a 5-headed dragon. Each dragon head's a different color. I wonder what like the story behind that is.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's pretty cool how they freaking launch a skull at you.
Oh, they're like bouncing it between their heads. It's great. I love all these like perfect loops too, because the skull like restarts the loop when it flies at you.
This one's kind of cool too. Osmodeus.
Oh, he's doing
That's the name of one of my Xbox Live accounts.
Osmodeus?
It's still in the chat. Was Osmodeus the name of one of our Xbox Live accounts? I also don't understand how we decided to make like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Maybe my brother knew what it meant, but like I feel like that might have been like an auto suggested, like, you know, in Xbox Live when you first signed up, like you could just auto suggest account names.
Maybe.
But like
I feel like that would have been like, maybe.
There's a 0% chance I chose that name. Like I didn't know what it was. Like I was today years old and I just learned what Osmodeus was, even though like that was my Xbox Live name when I was maybe like 13. We also had a bunch of Xbox Live accounts back in the day. Like we would always buy like the free trials, make new ones, and then just ditch the name. We weren't like, it took me a while to realize that like you should stick onto one account because like Steam and stuff. I don't know. That was also before you could buy games on the Xbox Marketplace. Like now when you buy games, they're connected to your accounts. So you don't want to flip around your accounts, but like there wasn't really digital purchases back then. Like you only used Xbox Live to play Halo 2 on the internet. Like you weren't downloading stuff from Xbox Live on your Xbox. So back then I wasn't really as concerned with like keeping my account. Also, it'd be fun to like re-rank, so you could play like Halo and then make a new account and then start out in the noob ranks.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Fun just making new accounts for that reason to kind of like.
I would make shit tons of accounts because I was modding, and I would get like the account would get banned for breaking terms of service by cheating online, and then I would just make another 2 months.
Today's drop is part of the Nerds Unite collection. It's not part of Crispy's collection, and his stuff is in a collab pack. Am I understanding that correctly?
Oh, how do we get Dr. Crispy's stuff? I gotta add to my Crispy here.
Sorry, I can't see the chat when I'm looking at like Atomic Hub and FD Box and stuff, so I missed all those. But let's go back to
go fuck yourself. Neon collab, that one's super great.
It's this, the Nerds Unite D24. That's pretty cool. It's like Sully's hat on a Halo helmet.
Oh, Sully says there's a 1-for-1 blend for the NFT, and he sent you some that you can blend for. Oh, if you want, you could probably blend it live since you got it. I'm not sure which wallet, but
so the dice you can blend, or let's read about it. This drop is not pre-minted, but it'll take your D24 and roll it into a blender where the pool is 100% pre-minted. Okay, so if you get this dice and you blend it into the blend, then there's bunches like I understand this. So it's like you're rolling for what you get out of the blend contract. That's what Dr. Crispy's saying. You're rolling a D24 for something. Depending on what you roll, you can get different rarities. So they're basically using a blend pack. This blend is a pack, and instead of a pack pool, it's a blend pool. So you can use the dice to get one random item out of the blend pool. There's a bunch of different stuff in there.
This is very in line with today's Dungeons and Dragons theme. The D24. Pretty dope.
I'll buy one. Let's see what happens. I have the wax on me, right? Do I have 34 wax? I do have 319 wax. Ooh, does that mean I need to check really quick? If something's sold in our planet, I need to buy it. It did. My finish now sold. That means I need to buy a shield. So I got 19 wax. Please say I can spend 19 wax on it. I refuse to spend any more money on our planet, but I got that for free, so I'm trying to sell it and buy something else more useful for me for the same money. Sorry to derail your fucking promo right now, Dr. Crispy, but this is important
Hold
to
on.
me.
I need the shield.
They also might go up in price significantly as the server goes on because people are getting blasted right now. 17 wax. I'm in the fucking clear. Let's go. Oh, yeah. So now I cannot play for 24 hours and nobody can attack me if I pop this.
Now you can get your sleep schedule right.
Yeah, now I can maybe like reset my sleep schedule one of these days. Yeah,
does that go for all bases, or is that one per base?
It does it for all of your bases for 24 hours. It also takes 12 hours to launch. So you need to like pre-do it to being attacked, which also you can time really well though. Like you can pop it and then attack a bunch of people, and then they attack you back, and then your shield comes up when they send units at you, and they'll get screwed. So you could like bait people into attacking you and then make it so their attacks can't hit you. Anyway, back to Dr. Crispy. Buy this 34 wax thing. And then I'll try the blend. Is the blend under your collection or is it under the Nerds Unite collection? Okay, transaction confirmed.
Let's see.
I'm gonna turn on some music too since we're just chilling.
Oh.
Let me see. Is there a blend on your collection too, Dr. Crispy? Or is it only on Nerds Unite? Because I think I want to do your blend if you have one.
All under Nerds Unite, he says.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't like, if I had to choose between getting like Sully's NFTs and your NFTs.
Yeah, our planet is chugging along, and the people who are still playing right now are like the sweat lords, dude. Like the server is about to end. We're down to like the last 250 players running. The top 100 players win. So
I can get an owlbear. You can get an owlbear, a snow owlbear, a powdered owlbear, nerdy dice onyx, gelatinous, lunar, or gold. So the rarest thing is the 1 of 1 gold dice. There's a 1 of 10 nerdy dice and a 1 of 50 for these other ones. So I want that gold dice, baby. But I also would just enjoy an owlbear. There's no losing on this one.
Is that redeemable? Is that a full-on redeemable owlbear?
No, I don't think so. It's an NFT.
Oh, it's the version of the owl. Oh, hell yeah. That's a pretty cool character. I like the way he looks.
Yeah, the dice are also cool. I just noticed, I didn't, that these are bear faces on the dice. Did you notice that?
Oh, I did not. Yeah, that's
like their little Glummy Bear logos on the dice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought that was popcorn when I zoomed out. I was like, oh, that's weird. There's like popcorn on this dice. They're little Glummy Bear faces.
Nice.
All right, let's do a plan. Give me the RNG power.
All right.
Unknown mint numbers? What do I care? It's not mint 1. I'll burn it.
Watch it be 69.
And something I would like, and it friggin'
What'd you get?
Ooh, I got a rare. That's cool that it tells you. I would like them to do an unveil screen though, like pack opening.
Yeah.
Still like, you can blend and not like I want to see the cards pop out in front of me like I do when I open a pack.
I agree. Or just like give like the creator the option to like, you know, since you got the dice NFT, it'd be cool if you could also make like a dice animation that is like the opening video,
nice.
like a pack opening.
So I got the 150.
Oh, nice. Oh, this is a cool version of it. Yeah, see, you already have a dice like asset. It'd be cool if you could make an opening video with it where you roll it. Moonbaz says he's got that one
The
too.
lighting's kind of cool in this. Like, look how this is set up in a 3D environment because look at the light shifting on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. It looks nice though. It's a nice 3D render. I feel like light, water, and like reflections and stuff is like what makes or breaks like a good 3D render. Like there's stuff that's hard to make.
Up your render time too, if you add like refraction and all that stuff.
Also, the camera's moving. I didn't notice that. That's why the light isn't.
The camera's moving around the camera's moving around the object versus the object moving.
Cool though.
I guess the object's moving.
Nerds Unite D&D. Let's see what the 1 of 1 looks like. Ooh, the gold one, man. I wanted this one, but oh well. Hasn't been pulled yet.
Yeah, let's
definitely fuck it up. Contract. Somebody can get this 1 of 1, the gold dice.
Oh.
I like it. It's cool.
Like the matted finish on yours looks pretty cool too, though.
Oh, I like mine too. I'm not mad at it. I actually kind of like the rare one better than like the onyx and the gelatinous ones. I do think the lunar one looks sick though. This is a Lunar New Year for sure. So you know how they always have like Lunar New Year? It's like the dragon and gold on red. It's like is that Chinese? I think it's a Chinese thing, right?
I think so.
I believe Lunar New Year also just happened recently. There's also the there's some like Hindu festival of like color that just happened.
Oh,
I learned so much about like international stuff from like being in these crypto chats. Like people are like celebrating holidays I didn't know existed and stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. What mint did you get of yours? Since they were pre-minted, right?
Let me check. I want to look at these first.
That was pretty
You're
great.
really sick too, though.
Owlbear. Oh, that's kicking great.
Look at that beauty, dude. Thing's got a
nice rump shot of him too.
I'm a fan of that. Yeah, look at that booty and the hat. Honestly, there's a little like Cocaine Bear. It is Cocaine Bear. Holy shit, this is the one I want. This is so funny. His eyes are fucking huge and he's snorting cocaine. Man, I want this NFT now. Is this one on sale? It's in the pack. It's from the dice.
Oh, you gotta roll the dice.
Yeah. Or just buy it in the aftermarket. And then they have the Snow Owlbear. This is the rarest one. Actually, no, the cocaine one's rare.
Cocaine Owlbear. Cool. That's pretty great.
Let's see if this is on the market.
What's the deal?
The cheapest one's $130. God damn it.
Damn,
people don't really sell Glvd Bear stuff for cheap a lot of the time. And none have ever sold. This is the only one listed. So it is a seller's market right now. I'll keep an eye on that though. See if anyone wants to list one.
Damn, dude. That's like real cocaine prices, yo.
Yeah, I can get a fucking real gram of cocaine for that price.
$100? Yeah, you can probably get a gram.
I don't know actually how much.
Depends, I guess. But
It's not a mint
That's
one because they're not pre-minted, right?
no, they're not pre-minted. They pull from a mint on. They're all pre-minted.
I got
thought.
mint 94 out of 150, so not a great mint, but also not a horrible mint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're definitely pre-minted because it says they're already all minted.
Yes, which is also why that's probably not going to be a mint one of that cocaine bear because it's not necessarily. I also like that you called it powdered instead of cocaine, which is actually smart because Atomic Cup is pretty strict like anti-drug laws. This isn't drugs. He's doing those. That's the sugar from powdered donuts. That's not drugs. Like, I'm sorry that you have a sick mind and you thought that was cocaine, but dude just likes to fucking get into that powdered donut sugar. This is mint 3.
Yeah, the blend pool is pre-minted. Okay, how many mints of the powder bear are there?
Only 50. It's the rarest of the bears.
Okay.
Oh, you gave us some blank die to give away.
Oh. I'll just scoop one of these. I want to roll the dice.
I don't know. Where did you send it? I don't see it in give.neon. What did I tell you to send it to? Weird. Maybe the network's behind? It doesn't show any transactions to give.neon. Like, this is our transfers. The most recent transfer was on 3/12. So I don't know. Weird.
Huh.
Did the transaction go through though, Dr. Crispy? That's the part I'm concerned with because you shouldn't be able to send to a wallet that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true.
That is our wallet we use for all giveaways all the time though, so it should work.
Let's check on a block explorer.
I wonder, I can probably find Dr. Crispy's wallet and track down what happened, to be honest. Let's see. Glummy Bears.
Oh,
Except-
they are. It looks like there's something pending. It should be executing in the next 150
so the
seconds.
transaction has not been pushed yet?
Yeah, it looks like it is not entirely finalized. But
Okay,
there, I
we'll
see
just
on the
wait.
block explorer. I can see him on the block explorer. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Atomic asset log mint. Oh, it's a mint into the wallet directly, I think, is why it probably didn't
Oh,
show
awesome.
up.
Oh, here's one. Wait, no, that's my wallet. I'm an idiot. I'm not signed into the freaking giveaway wallet. Giveaway wallet is on another browser. Oh, there they are. Perfect. So let's give away one of these. Crispy will save some of these to give away on Thursday and Friday as well, so we can promote the drop for a couple days, assuming it doesn't close before then. But if you were trying to get that cocaine bear, which I really am, you can enter this giveaway. And
Powder bear, please.
Sure, powder bear. If you do get one, I'd be down to trade some neon space stuff for it. So if anybody's trying to trade for neon space stuff and they pull the powder bear, let's try to do some trades, you know?
Yeah, I'm into that. We have to find one of these dice and so I can see if I can roll the dice. Inventory. I'm pretty stoked on my Neon Max the Reborn mint one too. Pinned that bad boy to my wallet.
It is pretty cool.
Grubfish.
Grubfish. Sounds like the friggin' Mortal Kombat announcer.
Oh, Dr. Crispy says drop closes tomorrow at midnight. But you can do whatever you want.
We'll still probably give them away. We've
Thanks
also
for
been
those.
streaming forever. I'm not sure they do like 5 giveaways in a row right now. Exclamation point play. You can still do the blend though. Like just because we're giving away after the drop closes doesn't mean people can. participate in the blend.
Right. Let me see.
It's time. Let's do it. Squeaky one. I'll trade you for your mint 1 Kraken City. Do you have a cocaine bear? I would consider that trade. Now, I'm also not even sure if I have mint 1 Kraken City, but if I do, I'd consider that trade.
Let's see. I have a few mint ones from Neon Space. I have a few mint ones from Glummy Bears too, I think. Got some mint ones from Music Mogul.
Did anybody see that Cocaine Bear movie? I assume that's why they're doing it right now, because that Cocaine Bear movie just dropped, like a major motion picture. You have the mint 1 of Kraken City.
I want to.
You just wanted to flex that, didn't you, Mono Switch? You're like, I'd trade it for the mint 1. Never mind, I already have the mint 1. Got you guys. I see what you're doing there.
Ooh, I got mint 1 of Burst Captain NFT from Atomic King's collection. I got mint 1 of a few Crypto Moon Boys, including our own collab with them. That's cool.
I burned a lot of our NFTs too. Like, that's how I know our blend system works, because like I had like 600 NFTs and I think I'm down to like 300 or 200 Neon Space NFTs. So like,
same. I actually have to source new ones when I want to burn shit, or when I want blend tokens now. Like, I've burned pretty much everything I wanted to burn.
I feel like Wombat's probably starting back up again soonish, right? I know the season ended and they just distributed the rewards. Usually there's like a week to a week and a half in between. All right, let's start it. Only 17 people in. There's 42 people supposedly watching, but I guess 25 of them don't want to enter this free giveaway, but more of the power to y'all that entered the giveaway. Last call, exclamation point play, to get a sweet, sweet dice that can maybe get you a cocaine bear. That's called a powder bear. I can call it a cocaine bear, even if that's not the title. I also wonder if that movie is any good. It looked horrible, but also like it could be like Sharknado, where it's so bad it's good.
Ooh, excuse me. I feel like it looks pretty fun, but yeah. No.
Oh, I didn't realize my face blocks the corner of the screen. Let's see if I can.
Oh yeah, that's where the action is.
There. Dr. Crispy says he heard the movie is fantastic. Yeah, I feel like that movie's either going to be the worst thing ever or really awesome, but there's like nothing in between. It's going to be like The Room bad, or like so bad it's not worth watching.
Yeah.
Ooh, Cone Dog. Couldn't cut it and got cut. Prince Paradox. Slicing down competition. Later, Crispy. Thanks for letting us know about your drop. We probably won't be online when you're back, but also if you ever want to hang out and stream, I know you're really busy, but definitely hit us up if you ever want to come on. We're happy to have you on our stream anytime you want.
Oh, there goes the last tail.
Oh my gosh, if Dark wins this, it'll be 2 in a row.
It's rigged. Oh.
And he did it! And he did it! And he did it!
He's done it! It's rigged. It's an insider's game and it's rigged.
Can devs do something? Do I have that one?
Oh man, I'd love the go fuck yourself Glummy Bear collab that you have. I cherish that one. It took me a while to get all the ingredients to make the blend, but
just let us again.
You're just getting yeeted in slow-mo.
Can devs do something?
There it is. I got some other ones.
I have underinvested by a lot.
The amount of like echo that comes out of his voice when he says that is bizarre. Like it sounds like somebody put reverb on it, but he's definitely just in a big room. His voice, like he's got good sound bites because they sound good. Like some sound bites have ass quality. Like what they're saying is funny, but like when I play it, it doesn't pop through like the stream. Like it's just like something about the frequencies, like their voice is too low. Like he has a high pitched voice and it just cuts through everything. Like it's the perfect fucking like I don't
Yeah,
know. Something
like
about it.
one
Like not all
context is
sound
talking
bites
about. I feel like this soundbite is great, funny, but like the actual clip of the audio is he's like whispers it, and it's just lost in underneath like background noise. It doesn't make for a good
I can
soundbite.
find some Hard Rock Nick crypto stuff.
Hard Rock Nick, he's always just like in his foyer or something, like in this massive house.
There he is.
Okay. I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need the price to go up. Can devs do something? Okay. I need the price to go up.
God, that shit's hilarious.
Can devs do something?
Okay, I've never seen this one. This is new to me.
Can you guys seriously stop playing around? I've been asking for help for hours, and people keep responding with gifs and memes. Like, this is not a professional environment at all. I was told this is a DAO, and I'll be getting early access, but I need help. Can someone seriously please freaking help me with this?
That is amazing. I was told this is a DAO.
Did somebody pay him to do that as a cameo, or do you think he's actually doing that? Like,
it's a cameo. It says cameo.
Himself. Oh, okay, good. I love those. Those are so funny.
Oh my god, look what he looks like. That's insane. I didn't know he had arm tats and like. It also literally looks like he paints on his facial hair. He looks crazy, dude. Do you see that picture of him? Like, looks like somebody drew his face. That doesn't look like a real person.
Hard Rock Nick, baby. Overinvested by a lot.
He's also
what it is.
Very bizarre person as far as like
he's always like, it's me, the richest man in the world, or some shit like that. One of the richest men in the world.
He owns multiple casinos in Vegas, and then he's also like really homophobic and like not, I don't know, like people accuse him of being gay all the time, and then that just turns into him being homophobic. He's like, but I don't know. He's got a very strange lane on the internet, but if you deep dive him, he's a horrible human being and like a complete garbage person. And we really shouldn't be propping him up as like an internet icon because he says a lot of disgusting things about a lot of people. Like he's not a good person. But that's also why he's entertaining, is because he's a walking dumpster fire. Like he's fun. He's got Donald Trump vibes. Like it's fun to watch him because he's just such a fucking like everything he says is entertaining, even though he's like a garbage person.
It's like a train wreck. You can't look away, but people are getting hurt.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
he's not a good person, and also he has no business being famous. But at the same time, everything he releases is funny as hell. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's why, like, I don't know. Some people were upset. I think didn't the team Lance was working with, like, they did like they paid him to do a cameo for their project, and then people are like backlashing because like he does have like a pretty negative online image. They're like, you don't want this person representing your company, which is kind of true. But also like it's part of the crypto community as a joke to get that guy to like. I don't even know how he got into the crypto communities either, because I don't think he even knows shit about crypto. Like I think all of that is cameo, and he's just reading
all cameo. People like he's reading a script. I think so too. Sometimes he says things in a way that's just like, oh. Yeah, he'll say things in a way that's like, "Oh, you don't actually know what you're saying." Like
that makes it even funnier, though, to be honest. Like, because he like emphasizes on points and stuff, and it makes his like the way he speaks just bizarre. Like the emphasis he puts on stuff, and like I don't know, it's part of what makes those magical sound bites, in my opinion, is the fact that he's reading off a script. Like if he's actually saying shit he believed in, I think it wouldn't sound so crazy. And like the crazy sound is what makes it fun. Like he sounds like a fucking lunatic when he speaks.
I love the whole. I thought this was a DAO. Like that's such a funny thing to say.
I think what it is he's really bad at acting. So what you're seeing is bad acting, and that's what makes it fun. Because if he's like not acting, it wouldn't be as funny. But like he has no.
He definitely has a brand. Yeah, it's definitely like a unique brand or lane. I would say, maybe not brand. He's in a very niche lane, and it works really well for that.
Yeah. I also don't believe he owns multiple casinos in Vegas and is one of the richest men in the world, but he claims that publicly all the time.
Probably not.
What's going on, C-Man? We're actually wrapping up our stream for the day. Thanks for joining us. We'll be streaming again on Thursday, probably at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah,
and,
I am interested to check out fucking RotaQuest, so maybe we'll check that out. I don't know about Thursday.
Jungle Brian on Thursday. So Jungle Brian's coming on Thursday. So maybe next week we'll do RotaQuest, because Friday I'd like to do big time with you. So I think next week we can try to do RotaQuest, but this week we're kind of spoken for content.
Yeah.
Also,
anyone who's got big time
on Friday, we're now past the tutorial zone. We can play with a full quest. 4 people can join us. Max and I will be 2 out of 6. So if anybody else wants to play big time with
us, right? And Jolly, they both are past level 10.
Yeah, they also live in Romania or whatever.
So join us on Friday though.
They might not be available at 1:30 p.m. our time. Like I think that's the middle of the night where they live. So anybody available, but also they're invited if they want to come. They just, if you notice, they're not always in our chat because they're usually sleeping right now.
Yeah,
we stream later in the night. Sometimes they join, but
that's too bad.
He hit me up at like 7:30 a.m. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to hop on?" I was like, "I haven't gone to sleep yet, and if I start playing big time now, like it's gonna ruin my life even more." So, what, Dark? You play big time too? And your Quantum Fixer?
Oh shit, Quantum Fixer! Hey, we need a healer, so get in the party.
Yeah, join us if you're around this time. Well, several hours earlier, 5 hours earlier. We've been going for so long. On Friday, we'll be probably around like 2 p.m. on Friday. We'll be playing some big time.
I'm playing Time Warrior right now, and I think Lewis is playing. What's your class?
I'm playing the Chronomancer, so I'm like the mage.
Chronomancer.
The only thing we're missing is a Shadow Blade, so I might respec Shadow Blade if somebody else wants to go Chronomancer, just because no one's playing Shadow Blade, and that's sort of like the rogue class. It's got like a swift. It's like the glass cannon attacking class. Like you can evade really well and you can move really quickly, but you don't have a lot of health and you do a lot of damage with melee.
Yeah, I was just tanking it up, but I'm only like level 12 right now, so I don't know how.
Jolly also is a pretty powerful Time Warrior, so you have room if you want to change it to something else. And we play with Jolly. We have it kind of like tank class. Jolly's also a fun tank to play with because Jolly's there's like different types of people who play MMORPGs. There's people who pull, stop, heal, and drink after every pull, and then there's people who just like pull. Before you even finish that pull, you go and pull the next group, and you pull like 9 groups at once, and then just fucking chaos for 30 minutes, and then you finally like clear everything, and you're like, okay, well, we just beat that dungeon like all in one pull instead of like doing it methodically. And that's how Jolly plays, and it's fucking chaos, but like I enjoy that play style where it's like you're always a step behind and you're always struggling to stay alive, but like it just keeps the game super engaging. You're not sitting around like drinking water like in between every fight, which is like in World of Warcraft where you're like a mage. Like a lot of times you're like, okay, wait for me to drink water until the next pull. Jolly doesn't do that. He just pulls. So if I don't have mana, I have to like figure out how to get mana in the middle of the boss fight and stuff. Like, but I don't know. It keeps it makes me have to like think on my toes more. So I appreciate that fight style, and I like when Jolly tanks. So I wouldn't mind Max if you could also like spec more DPS than tank if Jolly is going to be our lead puller.
Okay, I'm into that.
We'll talk about it on Friday. Ooh, you have the gates for punch mana. I fucking need that, dude. If you can get that spell up, my guy's a glass cannon. He does so much damage, but he runs out of mana super fast. So like, I basically have to like sit down in the middle of fights all the time. So if you can unlock that and play with us, that'll definitely help me up my DPS. But we'll talk about that on Friday when we do our big time stream. We're gonna start pretty much like every Friday. We'll do big time streams.
Level 5, you gotta get to like level 10.
You have to get to like level 9 to 10 to exit the tutorial zone. So you will not be able to play with us until you play through the game far enough to get to that zone. So if you would like to play with us on Friday, just try to get past the tutorial zone. Otherwise, you can't join our party. It takes.
Yeah, you don't have to level up necessarily. We can carry you if you're lower level than us, but you do have to be able to.
It's possible to get through the tutorial zone without reaching level 9.
I played through the tutorial on stream, and I was like level 11 by the time I finished.
I killed the least possible amount of enemies to beat every dungeon, and I got to level 9 as a Chronomancer. So I dodged a ton of enemies too. I was doing stealth. I wasn't clearing dungeons. So like,
I was
automatically be level 9. But yeah, you need to do that.
At least when you get out of the dungeon there.
That's new to this patch, though. So you haven't played in the new patch. You will have been reset to level 0, and then you have to play through it. So that is just a warning. If you're trying to play with us, you do need to be through the tutorial zone, which I would estimate takes 1 to 2 hours of playing. It took me about 3 hours. It took Max about 2 hours. So it depends on your class, but
yeah. And I wasn't like bolting through it. I was like taking my time. So
Oh, you were 45.
I'd say like 1.5 hours if you're already familiar with the game and kind of
I was already familiar with the game. It took me 3 hours. So
I guess it's okay. To that point, then I would say play it as a what is it? The tank class.
Tune smashed it with a Quantum Fixer too. I think Chronomancer is just like really weak. I also see like the least Chronomancers when I'm teaming with people. I think it's the least popular class right now in the meta. But as I always say, don't play the meta because they'll change the meta. If my class is the weakest, eventually they'll make it stronger, and then I'll have practiced it, know how to play it. So when it gets stronger, I'll have the game sense and the game knowledge to play it when it's in the meta. Thank you for the follow.
Get into it, dude. I'm down to play that on Friday. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and
the more
that's also
the more fun it'll be too. Honestly,
I think I'm going to every Friday try to do this. I'm going to try to do Blankos. Stop, stream game giveaways, stop, big time, stop. So that'll just be like our gaming day every Friday will be Blankos, giveaways, and big time. Blankos and big time are my favorite games in the NFT space. And I feel like I have been not streaming Blankos as much as I'd like to. So I kind of want to just like put it on the schedule. It's like game day, we're going to play our favorite NFT games, and those are our current NFT games. So like try to fit both of them in. And Blankos isn't as multiplayer. So like I'll probably just do one round of Blankos just to show it off. I'll do Blankos, and then we'll do like that Stream Racers game where people can win prizes, and then we'll hop into big time to like end up the stream. But that'll be Friday. Thursday we'll do some.
I was gonna say I also like Blankos, and I feel like we can always adjust what we play on Fridays as we get more like favorite games. Like if something kick ass comes out on Wax, I'm down to add that too.
Yeah, I'm not saying we'll do this forever, but I think for the time being, just expect Blankos and big time to be our Friday game day thing. So if you want to play with us, just have those games installed and be ready to jump into a game during those hours. And both of those games you can join us. Like I can join a brawl with a group of people. So we can have like 5 or 6 people in a group and all brawl together if you guys want to play Blankos. And then we can have 6 people play together in big time as well. So people are interested in those games. Check us out on Friday. Thursday, we have Jungle Bride coming on at 3 p.m. And I believe we're going to start at like 1:30 or 2. So we can do like, maybe we'll do like a tier list, or we'll do something for fun, play off the rails videos before Jungle Bride gets on. And then when he gets on, we'll interview him and like show off his project. So we'll have a little bit of off the rails on Thursday, an interview, and then Friday we'll do some gaming. And that will be our stream schedule this week. If anyone wants to hang out in Discord, we talk about all the same stuff in Discord. We talk about crypto market. We talk about the games. We talk about non-NFT games too. Like we've been talking about Diablo 4 is coming out soon and some other stuff. So,
yeah. Although big time is scratching that itch a little bit for me. It's kind of Diablo-esque.
So if you want to hang out and talk games, definitely feel free to hit us up in Discord. I stay awake at ungodly hours, and then by the time I'm going to sleep, Max is waking up. So we're pretty available all the time right now on our Discord.
Yeah. Also, if you have like interests in crypto and DeFi stuff and you want to chat about that, hit me up there too. I'm all about that kind of stuff.
This can start me down a new tangent. Not a fan of it. For what do you think of the new Chain Champs auto buy behavior? Essentially, you always pay what you set. So like, if I say I'll buy this NFT for $5 and somebody lists it for 50 cents, I pay $5 and $4.50 of that goes to Chain Champs.
Boo.
So they're pocketing the extra. But
I was definitely using that tool to like scoop things that people fat finger, and that kind of like loses my ability to do that.
I think it's okay just because you just don't view it as an auto buy, viewed as a limit order. You're setting a limit order, and that's how limit orders work for buying crypto. You say, I will buy crypto at this price if it drops this price. If it drops lower to that price, guess what? You bought it on the way down. It's not going to wait and buy it lower. So just view it as a limit order for NFTs, and I still think that's good utility. It's not as good of a utility as it was before, so I'm disappointed in the change, but I don't think it like makes it no longer usable. It just
makes the tool less useful. That's true. You still get it for the price you set. Just make sure to set your prices rather than a range that you're comfortable with. Make sure you're setting it.
Don't do a range. Set it for what you actually want to pay for stuff, and you'll never pay more than what you actually want to pay for it. So in that sense, it still works for what it's meant for. But obviously, it's worse for the users now because you save less money.
Yeah, that's definitely less exciting. It definitely also opens up like the competition could offer that, that format, and then
an NFT gutter. Look out for the NFT's gutter. And I think I'm the KY was saying the Nifty Gutter only works while you have it open. So like it's not a bot that runs in the background. You have to have the web page open for it to actively buy and just like actively looking. But he's saying like he was saying you can duplicate your desktop if you do like Control Windows D. It makes a virtual desktop, a second one, and then you can just have that virtual desktop looking at Nifty Box in the gutter all day, and your separate virtual desktop will be auto buying for you. You can do it for free.
Oh.
So that's a pro tip for I'm the KY. I have not tried it. I can't like verify that works. I also don't know how the gutter works. I've never even tried it personally. But according to what he said, you should be able to do that for free. So there is competition, but you have to have your computer on and an instance of it open and loaded all the time. So it's not as convenient as just like, you also need a web cloud wallet to auto sign for the Nifty Gutter. So yeah, you'd also need to be signed in for a web cloud wallet, and you need it on auto sign on your virtual desktop. But that is an option.
It's definitely also slower than the auto buy Chain Champ tool in my experience. From what I've seen on Chain, it's
Chain Champs has verifiably shown that they can beat the gutter, but they cannot always beat Picklebot and stuff. It's kind of back and forth with Picklebot and some of the other bots, but it is faster than the gutter. But
it's competitive with Picklebot.
It's also free though, because it costs money. You need to own a Chain Champ, and then you need to get the Champ, and then so there's a lot of hoops you need to jump through to use the auto buy and Chain Champs. So I would understand if people wanted to use Nifty because they don't charge anything for it. So like, even if it doesn't work quite as well, there's less of a cost barrier, especially because you don't get your like chimp token back if the rule doesn't work. So like, you can pretty much just burn value trying to use the auto buy on Chain Champs. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to rant about this, and then just started ranting about it. Let's play us out. We haven't heard from Carlos in a minute.
Here.
Now that we're not really like, I stopped uploading all of our episodes to podcasts and Spotify and stuff because literally nobody, like I uploaded them for a couple of weeks straight and nobody, there's 2 views, and that was me testing it from another browser. So like literally not a single person was watching it, and it takes me a couple hours a week to do that. So I'm like, why am I spending like, because I have to rip it off YouTube and then re-upload it and then change all the metadata, and like it's a decent amount of work. And if literally no one's going to watch it, I'm not going to spend a couple hours a week uploading shit to Spotify because fuck it, like no one's listening to it. So
yeah, that seems like
you're no longer auto uploading stuff, but that also means we're more of just like a stream now and less of a podcast. And I'm not worried about people listening, so I will play potentially copyrighted music and not worry about it because it's more okay if they're doing a Twitch stream than it is on a podcast being re-uploaded to Spotify. Let's see. Let's do BitConnect.
Carlos Matos.
Oh, there we are. We're live 3 hours ago. In my notifications. Good luck on blending the dice. I hope you get the cocaine bear or whatever you wanted, the powder bear.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get the not financial advice up for Carlos. This BitConnect is definitely not financial advice. You should not buy into BitConnect. It was a scam that existed years ago. And we'll raid into someone. Let's see who to raid into. We can raid into Novo Pangea. So we'll also be going live with Novo Pangea later this month. We announced it on Twitter. I forget the exact date. I also sent it to Max, but we will be guesting. Oh, what did you get?
What is that?
You got the owl bear. I still like the owl bear though.
Oh, that's a cool one.
I have to get more of the friggin' dice. I like this, like RNG and like the different things you can get. All right, so we're raiding to Novo Pangea. But first, let's play some BitConnect. We'll play like up until the first quarter. Raid.
Hey, everybody. My name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited. I am so happy. I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super exciting moment of my life with all of you guys. And let me tell you that we are really changing the world as we know it. The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I am right now independently, financially independently. I am safe.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Shout out to Dylan Locke for making the tunes. Raiden into Novo Pangea. We will see y'all on Thursday, or hit us up in Discord.
Yeah,
hope
happy
you all have a
Tuesday.
wonderful-
Keep an eye on these volatile markets this week.
I hope you didn't
We'll
put all
see.
your money in the friggin' Silicon Valley Bank, and hope you're doing
Yeah,
well. Peace out.
hopefully not. See you guys.